Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Rundown Friday Night Betalong. Slats, how are you tonight? Slightly
Good.
smaller panel than normal.
I was expecting your 3, 2, 1 countdown to the goal live, then you didn't give it, so I wasn't ready for us to
I
hop on
was
here.
looking at the screen and I thought there was going to be another. I thought we had one more moment, and then I realised no, it's time to dive in. So, welcome along to anyone who's watching us. First time viewers, we talk you through the show very briefly. Returning viewers, thanks a lot for coming back. We love to have you back with us. You can see there's an empty square there beneath Gaz's name. He'll be joining us hopefully shortly. He's tied up elsewhere. So what we do tonight is there's a whole host of European football on, and we'll be watching it, betting on it live, and cheering on a treble that we published during the week on SportsRundown.com. We've got our first comment in already from Dermot. So some days racing tomorrow, you're already looking ahead to the weekend's action, but we'll get to that later, Dermot. We've got plenty of football to struggle through tonight, and hopefully we get Gaz. He's a much more racing focused of the three of us here. So while we're waiting on Gaz, lads, how are you getting on tonight? I know your bet's already in play, so we should probably dive straight into that and just get it out there.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, the first part of our treble. So yeah, just to say it again, we pay out this treble if our treble comes off, and it's 45 to 1. So we have a tenner on it, and if it wins, we'll pay that out to the most active commenter on the social media platforms. So if you want to get your comments in, you'll be in with a chance of winning that €460. And you can also just hail the bets that we mentioned yourself if you want to get on them. The first of our treble is mine, and it started half an hour ago, so we're on it already, and we'll be able to pay out on it if it comes off. It's in the Portuguese Primeira Liga, and it's Arouca at home to Benfica. The pick I went for was Benfica to win and both teams to score. There's plenty of stats there to back it up. I won't go through them in detail, but basically Benfica are winning plenty and conceding as they do on the road. Arouca are losing a lot, but managed to score at home. So I'm hoping they manage to get on the score sheet. The game is just about 35 minutes into it, and Benfica went up 1-0 a couple of minutes ago. Nice. I didn't have it on, but I think it looked as if it was maybe a penalty and that was missed and the rebound was scored or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, that's the lead for Benfica. I guess my worry with this bet would be that Benfica will win comfortably to 0. I was kind of thinking of doing maybe Benfica and over 3.5 or over 2.5 or something like that. But I just thought 2 to 1 for both teams to score was good value. And given that Arouca have been scoring at home, I said I'd run for that. But good to have the lead. I'm just hoping I'd be delighted now for Arouca to get on the score sheet, even if it brings it to 1-1. I'd be pretty comfortable on Benfica kicking on and the win.
Yeah, and just so there's no surprises, Gary, welcome aboard. Nice to have you with us here. I could see you looking around there, so I thought I better just let you know you're on air before you start doing anything, untoward by there in the background. I wish you can't hear Gary, or at least I can't hear Gary. So
no, I think he might have been on mute himself, but when we hear him, we'll listen.
Yeah. So we'll play ahead stats, and we'll hear Gary. When we hear him, it'll be apparent that he's with us. So I like the sound of your bet there, Slats. Like you said, obviously that early goal, or at least first half goal, is going to open the game up, hopefully, and then then Benfica can score. That's the main thing we're going to be cheering on from this point. So fingers crossed that they concede nice and early, and there's plenty of time for them to go on and get the winner.
Yeah, that's what I'd be hoping, definitely. Yeah, because that's definitely the concern. Like Benfica were odds on to win; they were like 2 to 7 just for the straight win. So 2 to 1 for that to happen with Arouca scoring, there's definitely a bit of value there. But it's obviously the kind of biggest leg of the bet is just them getting on the score sheet. The win should be in the bag, and up 1-0. It's looking comfortable enough now. Yeah.
Yeah. My bet in this treble, by the way, comes from Belgium. So I think predominantly this season it's been a Belgian game for me. It's Oostende against Royal Antwerp. It's a funny one. Oostende had a really good start to the season, and then things have just gone downhill really, really poorly since, I don't know, the winter time, probably since November. I think in the last 30 available points, they've managed just 6. They've just gone really, really bad. And if you look back over their games in a bit more detail, it just seems to be that they played a lot of the weaker teams at the start of the season, and it kind of gave them a little bit of false, kind of a false position. Antwerp, on the other hand, started the season really badly. I think they lost a good few of their opening games, and since then they've been on fire. I think they've only lost 3 of their last 20-something games, 21 or 22, and they've scored in 19 consecutive games. So they're really in form, and they're just inside evens here, 19-20. I'd say within a couple of minutes of that game, which kicks off at 7:45, they'll be outside evens. I think I was very tempted to go for your logic there of a winning both teams to score, but Oostende, when they lose, they're pretty crap. I think of their 12 defeats, of their last 12 defeats, they've failed to score in 10 of those. They've been, losses to 0. So
yeah, well, 7-5 was pretty decent just for over 1.5 goals anyway.
I like it.
Pressure off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so 1-0, 2. Even if it's 1-0 going into the 80th minute, you'd still be quite comfortable there. So happy with that. I was tempted by the -1, which is a little under 3-1. Handicap market, Antwerp -1, but it's just a market that I never really dabble in, so I left it out.
It would definitely come back to haunt you, given how much you kind of give out about that market, or how
for sure
you tend to be. But,
so I went with the 7-5 Antwerp to win and over 1.5 goals. I think they'll be just too strong for them. A lot of people might be familiar with the Swiss forward Michael Frey. He's the top man at Antwerp, but I think of their last, I have to check my notes here, their last 10 goals have been scored by 8 different players. So there's really a lot of balance in that team. There's people chipping in from everywhere. So, even if 1 or 2 guys have an off day, I wouldn't be too concerned about how that one plays out. So, I really like that one there.
A good indication on that bet as well. I looked it up on Betfair just before we went live, and it had gone from 7-5 into about evens. And your picks often tend to do that. Like you get them out early in the week. We published, our treble bet on Thursdays, and the prices that are available then is what we go with. And yours particularly often come in before kickoff, which is always a good sign.
Yeah.
This Arouca Benfica game went suspended with Arouca on the attack, but it's just come up shot on target. So it must have been one of those ones where they were in 1-on-1 with the keeper or something, and the bookie suspended because it should have been a goal. I'm going to try it's actually still suspended, so maybe there was a foul or something in there.
Penalty.
I'm going to try get it up on
Arouca penalty. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, looking at it here.
I think I just got in time for the Arouca penalty today.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Gary's just come in time just to tell us that he backed the penalty in the first half of the Portuguese game. We got you there, Gary. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we just had the joy of watching you drinking your Stella there for the last few minutes and just enjoying the show. It's like front row seats you got for yourself. So
the only way to do it, sure.
Yeah, this has gone to VAR, slats.
Feck, is it? VAR never sorts us out, really. Sure, it doesn't. I'm watching here, so
penalties never do either, so it doesn't really
matter. No, that's true. Even if it's given, there's about a 90% chance it'll be missed. It looks as if it's been given. And Benfica have gone back into 4-11, which is the odds they were soon after kickoff before they scored. So it's given all right. I didn't get to catch the replay of it, but I have the match open here now, so I'll be able to keep us updated on how things are going there rather than just looking at the stats. This would be excellent though if they do manage to score here with both teams scoring.
I chalked the bet up as a win already. It's just in the bag at that point.
One of the German teams did let us down with that. Do you remember? But hang on, here we go now.
I was Bayern Munich at like.
Oh my god, ridiculous run up. Do you ever see those run ups where they kind of skirt around, do loads of little tiny footsteps and slow down and then stop and do a few more, and just like it does nothing for you. The keeper just didn't budge, and then he just didn't know what to do with the ball once he actually got to it.
I can't believe that.
Shocking.
So
he kind of jumped in the air and kicked it as he was landing.
So just for anyone who was watching, you mightn't have clocked that, but they missed a penalty. Arouca have missed that penalty, and they are now back out to a whopping 45-1 here. We never will go back and watch through these streams to figure out what the numbers are, but it's got to be more than 80% of the penalties we watch on the stream get missed. Probably like 90% of them get missed. That's already 2 in the new year we've had, and both of them have been missed. So the curse continues, but that is a real kick in the backside for your bet, Slats. So just for anyone who's joined us, I see we picked up a few people, especially on Facebook in the last couple of minutes. Slats has backed Arouca to win and Benfica to win and both teams to score. And they have fluffed their lines in front of goal. Yeah, Like if I was on a team and you saw a guy taking a funny run up for a penalty, I just mid run up, just haul him back and get somebody else to take the penalty.
Just have a hook around the neck and just yank it back away from the ball. It just shows. I think it just shows such a lack of confidence that they're just like, the best I can do here is try and put off the keeper, so I might actually score if he, panics when I do a funny run up to the ball. It should just be so straightforward. Just up, bury it into the side netting nearly. Yeah. But yeah, that's not the way it happened. It was awful. It was nearly down the middle, but just a bit to the side that the keeper was diving. So like the keeper would have done well to get out of the way of it. And yeah, Arouca aren't going to get that many chances. So that's pretty frustrating now that they've missed that.
Yeah, big time.
But, we've a whole other half. And I mean, at least they have had a couple of attacks and a few shots since going down 1-0. So hopefully they won't let that missed penalty dampen their hopes or spirits.
No. Frustrating though. Would have been lovely to be at this stage of the bet.
Yeah.
This stage of the game with the bet nearly in there. So that is unfortunate for you lads there. So welcome back, Gary. We didn't get much out of you earlier in the show. Do you want to talk us through maybe your bet? You've picked out a Premier League bet for us. I know it's still probably more than 15 minutes away, but maybe get your thoughts out there early for us.
Yeah, just before I get on to that, the reason I was chuckling away there in the background is my mother's comment in Facebook that says, Gary, we can't hear you, and XXX. So comments are welcome, but the kisses are optional. So my bet tonight is in the Watford and Norwich game. So I went to see Norwich play against West Ham recently and was fairly impressed with them. But they lost 2-0, but they played a lot better and the results showed. Particularly impressed with Adamida, who is the young Irish striker for Norwich. He went out last week then and scored his first Premier League goal away to Everton. So I just think that the attacking threat that Norwich have of Pukki and Anida, I fancy them to win this game. I've added in both teams to score as well because Watford essentially have conceded in every game this season. Norwich are good going forward, but they're very open at the back, give up a lot of chances as well. So I can see both teams score, and as I said, I think Norwich will just squeak it. So it's pretty juicy odds. I think it was 11-2, but I think it has a very good chance of coming in.
Yeah, no, I like the sound of that, and certainly some of those games. I know you didn't go with both teams to score; you went with over goals, but you are implying that both teams will probably have a good chance of scoring there. So hopefully it lights up early, and hopefully Ida can go on a bit of a run now after his breaking his duck there last week.
Yeah, exactly. I also did a bet builder for the game as well. Again, Adamida is in. I think he's a big price for 2 shots on target because I said he scored last week against Everton. I actually had a really good game against Everton. And then against West Ham, he had like a shot from about 30 yards that there was like a worthy of a save by Fabianski to keep it out. So he was like 11-5 or 12-5 for 2 shots on target. So I put him in 2 shots on target. The Watford striker, Josh King, 2 shots on target. Both teams to score and over 10.5 corners. So it's 30-1 as a bet builder. I think it has a fairly good chance. So put that in there as well.
Over 2 guys have.
This happens every week. You run through your bet builder and I'm like, I need to get this.
Just nodding along and you get that all sounds good. And then it stops like, I have no idea what the bet is anymore.
Yeah. So I think the problem is you get to the end of it and you go, so that's 30-1. And I'm like, oh shit, how am I not on this already?
So it's Ida and Josh King both have 2 shots on target each.
Exactly. Over 10.5 corners and both teams to score.
Okay. I wonder, does the shots on target sort of, the way the overlapping markets, does it change the both teams to score aspect of it a whole lot?
I'd say
I think it does, but not too much. You lose a little bit, but not too much.
So, sorry, was it Joshua King and Adamida, both two plus shots on target?
2 shots on target, yeah.
Grand. And then both teams to score. I'm going to leave out your little corners,
the kicker
bumper, and just stick with the treble.
How dare you disrespect the corners, man? The punters bet.
I just have no faith in it as to have like.
I would say 75% of my corners bets have not won. No matter what I've bet, just they don't win.
No, there's nothing better than watching a live game and betting on corners.
I kind of feel like when we used to do those head-to-head battles and pick either side of evens bets. Do you remember that last year? And I feel like the corners one was often one that whoever went under would come off better.
Yeah. I don't know. I like cheering it on anyway. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the paltry 15-1 version of that bet without the corners anyway.
I'm tempted to do the 45-1 version with an extra corner in there, over 11.5. But the pain if it finishes on 11. Yeah, but if it finishes on 11.
That's true. You'd be bowling. That's gone half time in that Benfica game. Still 1-0 to Benfica. So, yeah.
And what are the overall stats now? Sorry, I missed it when I was trying to get my tech issue sorted. So, what's the overall stats looking like there?
Like, it was pretty quiet opening to the game. There was only a handful of shots in the first half hour. All from Benfica, and then they scored. So they had 3 shots in the first half hour. They scored their 4th shot, and since then Arouca have had 4 shots themselves. One of those being the penalty, and one of them being the missed rebound, which was, I mean, it would have been tough to score, but they just had a hoof at it and it went well wide. So they've definitely been coming back into the game since going behind, and it does look as if it's kind of opened things up a little, but. Need them to keep that up now and get on the score sheet. I'd be pretty confident if they do score that Benfica will kick on and win anyway. But just need Arouca to keep going at it and hopefully get another good chance.
Sweet. Would it be nice for that goal to win?
I mean, if it ends up in what lets down our treble, it'll be absolutely sickening. But at least it's done now before the other games have even kicked off.
It's going to take a minute and write down what stage of the video you made that sentence, lads, because we'll cut that out. It'll certainly be a premonition come the end of the night.
I see we've got a lot of new viewers in on Facebook and YouTube. So just if you are tuning in for the first time, the ACA that we called out earlier, and it's on our website as well. So it's Norwich to win and both teams to score.
No, it's Norwich to win and over 2.5 goals.
Oh, over 2.5 goals. Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's your
Put it in there because I thought over 2.5 goals would come in. But it's
I'd like to think that's why you put it in there.
Go on, lads, you can call it out. So you're the expert.
You're grand. My leg of it is for Benfica to win and both teams to score. Benfica are up 1-0 in that game. Currently, it's half time. And then LB went for the usual Belgian First Division A. And your pick is Antwerp to win and over 1.5 goals. So, yeah. That's pretty solid.
5 minutes into that game, it's pretty open so far. Antwerp, they just got in behind. I actually thought it was blown up for a penalty for handball, but it was actually an offside in the build-up, so it's gone back for a free out to Oostende. But Antwerp look reasonably comfortable so far here. If Oostende get the ball, they just kick it away. So 5 minutes in, and still obviously 0-0.
I'm gonna the Dutch 2 is just going into half time here. One bet I was thinking of getting on for a treble was the Roda versus Den Haag game, for both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. They're probably the 2 of the form teams at the moment, and there's not. I think they might be like 5th and 6th in the table or something like that. They're kind of next to each other in the table, but it's only 1-0 at halftime, and it's 9-10 for 2 more goals. So I might just back 2 more goals there. Almere game, there hasn't been a huge amount of chances in it. It's 0-0 at half time, but it's evens for 2 goals in the second half there. And then Maastricht v Volendam is 0-0 going into half time. And it's had an awful lot of chances. It's only 8-13 for 2 goals, but I'm going to throw that in as well because there's been a ton of chances there. So
you just fly through this. So that's the Roda game?
Yeah, so these are all in the Dutch 2. And the Roda game, it's already 1-0, so it's over 2.5, so 2 more goals in the second half. The Graafschap versus Almere is 0-0, so over 1.5. And Maastricht versus Volendam is 0-0, so over 1.5 there as well. So those 3 games to basically have 2 more goals in the second half in each. And that's paying about 5-1. Yeah, that'll return just a little over €60. So, well, on a tenner bet, that is. So yeah, it's just about 5-1 for that. So yeah, that's on now. Those games are just either half time or in first half injury time. So plenty of time to get on that one if you want to tail it. And there's not going to be any action there for 15 minutes or more. So when it kicks off again, I'll keep people updated on that one.
Yeah, I might tail that one as well. Actually, there I like the sounds of it. You got a good track record in the Dutch second division.
Yeah, and it's usually good for goals, especially in the second half. So hopefully those games will come to life now and they'll score a few. It looks like Antwerp are on top in that game so far, LB. Are you watching that live now? Or
yeah, they very nearly scored from a corner. They came in. I don't know what the keeper was doing. He kind of got caught in no man's land there, and the ball just kind of skidded out through the box. So they got away with it. Oostende. Kind of a controversial moment there. There was a big Antwerp tackle. The Oostende player went down in the heap and he was kind of screaming. And with the no crowd in, it was very, very apparent that he was lying there screaming. But they just played on and nearly scored from it. So high octane stuff at the minute now. They're very, very heated. But yeah, it's all Antwerp so far. Like I said, as soon as Oostende get the ball, they just hoof it forward to nothing. So be looking pretty good so far.
Yeah. Seems like a good
see,
start.
we've commented on Facebook from Ethan Allen. Melts. I can only assume that's in reference to Arouca missing the penalty, but if it's something else, just let us know.
If it's
plenty of melters out there tonight.
Nice to meet you too, Ethan.
Yeah, it could be that as well. But if that is the case, just leave it go. You don't need to explain it. But hopefully it's the Portuguese penalty miss. We have the Verona Bologna game has just kicked off as well. I've also got that on. It's not much happening so far. Our Serie A experts, or anyone who goes over to SportsRunDown.com will see we have Enzo, who's our boots on the ground in Italy. He writes a weekly piece on the Serie A. We asked him his thoughts before the show kicked off. He thinks that Verona are to play here. They're just inside evens. They actually started out at 19 to 20. They've gone into 8 to 11 in the first 5 minutes. And they're fresh off a good win away at Sassuolo, and Bologna are in a miserable run. I think they've lost 5 of their last 6. So he's picking a home win there at just inside evens. It's not made his official picks for the weekend, but there are his thoughts on the game. So
yeah, he said a home win with goals. So I'm considering jumping on Verona and over 2.5 is 9 to 5.
Yeah, that is a good price.
Yeah, it just seems like a good price. Now Enzo didn't say how many goals exactly, but there tends to be plenty in some of these Serie A games. So if he fancies goals, I'd expect that he fancies over 2.5. So it's 9 to 5 there. And what was Dermot one? So our League One expert had a pick for us as well for tonight.
Yeah, so the French game, that's Lyon against Saint-Etienne, that kicks off I think at 8:00. It also didn't make his official picks for the weekend, Aka. So Dermot, just like Enzo, he has a dedicated League One Aka every week, but he thinks Lyon are going to win this one comfortably. So -1 or -2 are his two kind of suggestions there. I think they're just inside 3 to 1 with a 2-goal handicap against Lyon, and just a bit outside evens, I believe, at -1. So I'm not a huge fan of these handicap markets. I might back the similar market there, Lyon and over 2.5 maybe. I would imagine that would be somewhere in the 13 to 10 region, but I'd have to check that in a minute.
I'm going to tail him on that one and go for Lyon -1. I'm going to accumulate these two with the La Liga pick that Savage was talking about as well.
Yeah, do you want to talk us through that one, lads?
Oh, I actually thought you were going to, and I was just going to put it on as you explained it.
He was going to punt away.
I'm just lining up the bet here, and I was waiting for you to tell me exactly what it was, because I don't actually...
Well, let's read out his input. So Savage, like the other two guys, he's our Spanish La Liga expert, so he has a La Liga article every week. And same with the other two. This bet didn't make his official La Liga picks for the weekend, but he said that Espanyol needed a 96-minute equaliser against Cadiz, who are 19th in the league, to claim a point last week. And he doesn't think they'll have it easy against a very strong Betis side who dumped Sevilla out of the cup last week and put 4 past Alaves in the last 5 days. So he thinks both teams to score should be in here as well, because Betis are the second highest scorers in the league, and Espanyol have scored in every home game except the first one of the season. So they have... just got distracted with the Belgian game there. So he likes both teams to score, and reading between the lines there, Betis to win and both teams to score seems to be the pick there from Savage.
Okay, yeah. So if that treble, I'm going to get on Verona to win and over 2.5 goals, which is already live. Lyon to win -1 on the handicap there at evens, and Betis to win with both teams to score at 16-5. That pays about 23-1 for that treble. So I'm only going to go in low stakes on it because these are 3 bets that the guys didn't include in their articles on the SportsRundown.com website. But they are just kind of punt fancies that they like the look of tonight. So I'm just going to do a low stake treble on those 3.
Yeah. While we were talking through that, there was a great chance for Antwerp there. One of the players got down the wing, kind of ran into the side of the box. He pulled it back, and the Antwerp centre forward, I don't know if it was Frey, I couldn't see. He was pretty much unmarked, slightly to the right-hand side of the penalty spot, and just side-footed it wide. So it really should be 1-0 there to Antwerp early on.
Yeah, it really looks like they've been on top so far. They're 11-8 to be leading that game at half time. I'm actually quite tempted to hop onto that.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a risky enough market because they can take a while to get going, but yeah, I don't know. I just like the look of the stats in that so far.
While you were chatting there about the bets, lads, and calling out what the lads fancied, I was looking at the German market. So Eintracht Frankfurt are paying Armenia Bielefeld, and they were 1-0 down. Frankfurt were. So based on stats and based on league form, you'd expect them to come back into it. Like, they were dominating. They had 4 corners to none. They had more shots and more possession. So, and they were 2-1 in running. So I was about to recommend putting that in as a kicker. And just as I was about to speak, Armenia went and scored a second. So might be one to keep an eye on if Eintracht get one back. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't shout out, oh yeah, I'm going to back this, and then they score straight away. Like.
Yeah. Did you said so? Verona and over 2.5. Lyon -2.
No, Lyon -1. I just went.
Oh, Lyon -1. Okay,
yeah.
I was going to say.
I know that. Yeah, I know Dermot suggested -2, but I said I just would keep that one a bit safer.
Yeah. Because the way the guys have called it out themselves, it'd be 45-1. So pretty juicy there.
That is tempting. Yeah.
Yeah, another corner here for Antwerp. Strange one. The Oostende player just kind of let it run out for the goal kick. It looked like. Certainly in the replay, I wasn't looking at the live passage play, and then he turned out to be a corner. So, great volley there from one of the Antwerp midfielders, but no dice. So 0-0 goal kick to Oostende.
They still, I mean, they're over 80% possession. Almost all the shots, nearly all the attacks, 2 corners to 0. They've considering it's only 15 minutes in, they've had a lot of action there already. And
it's been very, very one-sided here.
Yeah. I got on at 6-4 for Antwerp to lead at halftime, so I don't want to be jinxing your bet or anything. Not that you really need a whole lot in the first half anyway, but it would be nice if Antwerp went up 1-0 before halftime for you too.
Yep.
It's just getting going here in the Watford game, so fingers crossed for a bit of early action for both the bet builder and our live action ACA.
Oh yeah, so these bios to get their shots in. Who are we again? Joshua King and
Ida.
So Adam Ida, Joshua King.
I kind of like that of having one player on each team. Like, so like if you have 2 players in the same team, you're really kind of reliant on that team getting a lot of shots in.
Yeah.
Although, have you seen that that actually multiplies up? So like the same way, if you back over 2.5 and both teams to score, say, the odds kind of drop on the second one. If you kind of accumulate up the same players on the same team to get shots, they go up hugely, the odds, because obviously,
oh really? Yeah, because you're kind of backing
shots on target.
Yeah,
you're backing something that's much rarer. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but Bologna have gone up 1-0 against Verona. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I backed Verona on goals, so I mean a goal is coming in all right, but need Verona to get back into that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an unfortunate start there for that kind of casual one by the lads.
A VAR check in this game after 11 seconds.
Oh wow!
Like, Norwich
please don't be for a red card. Just
no,
kill the
for
game.
Penalty. So Norwich kicked off, went down into the Watford box. A guy got tackled, looked to go over easily. I didn't see. I think it might have been Pookie. Because there seemed to be a flare or something lit here, so it's a bit smoky on the screen. I'm watching, but it was like he went down in the box, lost the ball, came away and went out for a throw in. There was a VAR check. VAR haven't given it. I haven't seen a replay now, but nice that 11 seconds in, Norwich were in the Watford box. They're on the attack here now. This just over a minute in now, and they've a free kick right in the center of the pitch from about 20 yards, and it was Ida who was taken down. So fingers crossed he gets on this free kick and has a go off it.
I presume it's Pookie would take the penalties there, is it?
Pookie will take the penalties, yeah.
And then Ida tap in the rebounds.
Hopefully. Or even just get it on target.
It'll be between King or Dennis for Watford, depending on whether on the pitch. I think King would have the duties, but it's one of those that's kind of shared. Yeah.
The Benfica game has just kicked off for the second half, so I'm going to throw that back on here now in a second. We obviously need both teams scoring in the second half because our bet for our treble is Benfica to win and both teams to score. And just to remind the viewers, if that bet along with the other two legs of the treble come off, our most active commenter will go away with €460. So,
maybe it's worth just talking through that Ake again, just explaining to anyone who's still watching us, lads, or who's joined us. Maybe more about the giveaway than the details of the picks, but I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we do it every week. The three of us independently pick out a bet on the Friday night that's going to be happening when we're live on air. Make a pick. The three of us do it individually, and then we combine those three picks into a treble. It can kind of pay off anywhere between maybe 10 to 1 and 40 or 50 to 1. So it's one of our bigger ones tonight. We did get a 46 to 1 in earlier this season, or it was in around that anyway. And this is another one that's just a little under 46 to 1. And we put a tenner on that on behalf of our viewers. We back it ourselves too, but we put a tenner on behalf of our viewers. And if that treble comes in, then we pay that €460 out to whoever we feel has been the best contributor throughout the show, just with comments, any sort of comments, but particularly if you've any sort of tips or questions, we'd like to see a bit of that too. We often tail tips from viewers watching as well, so just let us know what you're betting, what you're considering betting, anything you fancy, any bit of insight you might have to a game.
Last week went really well. No, I was going to say last week was really good. We got a lot of comments in with tips that nearly always came good, or people's bets, most of them were winning. It was a very enjoyable over and back we had with the commenters last week.
That was good. Unfortunately, it was my pick that let down our bet last week. I think I was texting you after I'd backed the score draw in what game was it again? It was the PSV game in the Dutch 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so PSV I kind of feared might win it, but they went down 1-0 in the first half, so it was looking decent enough. And then it went 1-1 at half-time, and it was looking great. Both teams scoring and a draw at half-time. And then PSV went up 2-1 in the second half, and it was kind of like, that's still all right, but a little dodgy. And then it went 3-1, and I was like, all right, that bet's dead. And then it went 4-1, and I was like, I wish I hadn't made that pick.
I'm going to turn it off now, yeah.
They were good goals, though. I was watching it here as well, and some of the goals are really good strikes, but it's always... you're watching it from a neutral's point of view. You're like, oh, that's a good goal. But when you have a bet on, you're like, fuck's sake.
Yeah. And just like when you back a draw and it ends up 4-1, it just looks like you were so far off the mark. I think Benlo just kind of fell apart after going down 2-1. Certainly after going down 3-1, I don't think it was as bad as it looked.
They were kind of late enough goals and all in a cluster, like.
Yeah, but in fairness, you had a lovely call with the 1-1 draw last week. You called the score draw, and that was at about 3-1, I think, the odds on it, wasn't it?
7-2, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually I couldn't have called that game much better.
No, you would even said there's always a late goal, and if it's 1-0 going in toward the end, you'd be comfortable enough, and it went exactly as you had outlined it. It was spot on, in fairness. So hopefully people just ignored my shout and tailed yours. The Dutch 2 is into the second half, and Roda scored, so that came pretty quickly. It's only like the 47th minute, and it's 2-0 in that game. So that treble I have, just to say it again, it's the Maastricht Volendam for over 1.5 goals there, over 1.5 in the Graafschap and Almere, and then over 2.5 in Rode Den Haag. So I just put that on at half time, and hopefully we'll get those 6 goals in, and it pays about 5-1.
You mentioned a minute ago one of the teams last week in your bet falling apart, and that looks to be happening here with Antwerp. They have just, like, they could have conceded twice in the last 5 minutes. Oostende had no shots in the first 15 minutes. They've had 5 in the last 5 minutes.
Wow.
Two of them could have been goals. One was it was a comfortable save in the end, but it was a really good opportunity. It was just drilled low and central, and the keeper got down to it. And then another one just went, the keeper didn't even move, and it just went wide and left. And they've also had 2, maybe 3 corners in that time as well. So it's been like a game of backs and forwards, or, you know, whatever people call that around the world. But very, very difficult 5-minute spell there for Antwerp, but they've got out of it. So hopefully, oh no, God, here Antwerp are on the yellow card here. Yeah, it was just Antwerp went down the other end, and he just got carried away, lost the ball. It was a 3-on-1, complete breakaway in favour of Oostende, almost a guaranteed goal, and just a hack job then to bring down. That's actually a man, you know, that Nangaland guy who played for Rome. I don't know where he's gone now.
Oh yeah.
It's his brother. Just picked up a yellow. Obviously, the same style of football as his older brother. So yellow card there for Antwerp. And
he's off in China or something now.
Yeah, he was bouncing around. He's a great player for a while, but anyway, yeah, Antwerp are just not at the races now. This last 6 or 7 minutes. So hopefully nothing to update you in the next moment or two.
In an Norwich game, actually delighted how Norwich have started the game. If you had them just in a single, I think they're 12-5 still at the minute, which seems a big price considering how they've started. It's only just going on 8 minutes now, but they've had all of the ball, and they haven't really created much in terms of like shots on goal or anything like that. But every time they get into a dangerous position, they're getting fouled. So if you're just watching the stats, you'd be like, oh, this game is pretty even. But watching it live, as I said, Watford have had to make a few cynical fouls to stop Norwich from getting into dangerous positions. So I think there's a goal on the horizon here for Norwich if they can keep this level of attack up.
Yeah, it'd be a great start. Yeah, if they take a lead for us.
You know, another cap in your feather as well, Gary, because nobody really was giving Norwich a chance, even though Watford are pretty, I mean, as you said in your article, they're kind of a bit of a mess at the minute anyway. But everyone has kind of been talking up, oh my God, the worst miss I've ever seen potentially here now in this Antwerp game.
I didn't know what was coming there. I was like,
no, it could have been anything.
Like, okay, thankfully the whole play has been, I think they're all offside, it's been brought back. It was a 1-on-1 with the keeper. He decided to just pull it back to one of his buddies, and he had 95% of the goal to aim at, and he just booted it off the only defender that he could have possibly found. Oh, God, Antwerp, what are they doing? Anyway, 0-0, the whole thing got brought back for offside there, so false alarm, but a worrying little trend there of how crap Antwerp have been now the last few minutes.
The home team miss all the chances, and then Antwerp can get a bit of luck towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What was I saying though? Oh yeah, just everyone is kind of writing off Norwich in this game, Gary. So another cap in your feather, if that's the phrase. If you get that call right again this week, same as last week, you read it very well.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet now, so I don't want to talk too soon, but.
Rode have scored again in Dutch 2. That game's 3-0 now, so the over 2.5 has come in there pretty fast. The Almere game has only just kicked off the second half, and the Maastricht one is 5 minutes in. There's no goals in either of those yet. But yeah, one down of that treble. Just need 2 goals in each of the other games, so I'll keep you updated on that. Benfica weren't too far off. Well, they had a decent opportunity and hit it wide. I'm not really sure what way I want that game to go. I don't know if, the greater elite Benfica take, Arouca just drop off, and because we need both teams to score, I think I prefer Arouca to score next, even if it only came after, 70 or 75 minutes.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Benfica pushing for a late winner is far more likely than...
Yeah, I don't like waiting on a consolation goal. They can happen, of course, but yeah, I'd feel a lot better waiting for Benfica to push on and get a winner.
Yeah.
So
time.
I'll take it if they score. Fair enough. We're only waiting on 1 goal. Then currently we need 2, but yeah, I think ideally for it to go 1-1 and Benfica to kick on from that would be ideal for us.
Yeah. So Paul Kelly on YouTube was just put a comment in saying that Norwich only have 3 away games or 3 away goals all season, so it's hard to fancy them. But he's saying they look good. And yeah, Paul, like I noticed that stat when I was looking at the game, but I've just gone off what I saw about 2 weeks ago against West Ham, and then obviously the performance against Everton last week. So they're 2 really consistent performances, and then
they also don't play against defenses as bad as Watford's too often.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. But they also, like, I would think that if I was in the Norwich team, they're bottom of the league, everybody's writing them off, like, didn't look like winning the game. And now all of a sudden, like, if they win tonight, they're out of the relegation zone. So they should have a totally different outlook rather than saying, oh, we're relegated, that way. They actually have a chance of survival. They're one of 4 teams that are going to be fighting it out for that one survival place. And
there's actually an interesting point, Gary, because Savage, the La Liga expert we mentioned, who has his column on SportsRunDown.com, made a similar point. Alaves play Barcelona this weekend. I think it's the late game on Sunday. And I think they've no wins in their last 9. Like they looked cut adrift. They were like Norwich, they've been just not picking up any results anywhere. But basically, the teams above them have been so poor as well that they're only 3 points away from safety, having not won a game since October. So, it's not. Teams can kind of give up too early, really. But a couple of results for Norwich here, and it's a very different looking table.
I'm just going to drop there for 1 second.
Yeah, that's definitely the case with, like, especially with such a young team, they would have been like really, really low on confidence. But it doesn't take much to turn that around. And like a decent performance against West Ham, as I said, the victory against Everton last week. If they can back that up with a victory now today, they could go on a run. I still think I said it in the article, they're probably a bit naive to stay up. Like, they don't really have the ability to shut up shop and, see out of, if they get a 1-0 lead, kind of see that out and take the 3 points. But they definitely have more life in them now than they did even 4 or 5 weeks ago before Christmas, like,
Yeah, completely. I saw someone made a video, I saw it on TikTok or something like that, talking about how Norwich and Fulham are both so good in the Championship and so poor in the Premier League that we're lucky that they're never in the Premier League at the same time. Otherwise, it'd be the most boring relegation battle of ever. So yeah, probably good that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Norwich stayed up now, like the way you said it. You know what I mean? And a lot of the teams down there do look a bit. They have their own problems. So, speaking of problems, by the way, Antwerp are just all over the shop.
Speaking of problems, that's some segue.
Oh yeah, I was just looking for any bad word Gary said. I was just going to move it across to Antwerp, and then I just said I'd put it in there myself. Yeah, they've just been awful, unbelievable first 15 minutes, and they could be 2-0 down in the second 15 here. I'd be very tempted to back goals in this one now. It's opening up a lot. So,
well, in better news, Lyon have gone up 1-0 and Espanyol have gone up 1-0. So those 2 games are looking pretty decent.
Was the bet not there, Betis?
Sorry, it was for both teams to score. So yeah, I'm being a bit of an optimist there. But
okay. Yeah, we needed the goal there. Okay.
Yeah, we needed Espanyol to score. So hopefully Betis cop on now and come back and win it. Yeah. We need Verona to come back from 1-0 down as well. But certainly Lyon, where it's -2 is what Dermo kind of suggested. I've gone for -1 on it. So yeah, obviously that one you don't want both teams scoring at all. You just want Lyon to run away with it. So that's a great start, at least.
Yeah, big time. It is now. What's the goals? 6-4 for over 2.5 goals in this Belgian game. Probably a bit early to be jumping on that. I'd be inclined to let it drift more and maybe back over 1.5. But it's really looking like it could kick into life at any stage here. Oostende nearly scored again. It was kind of an optimistic ball forward, and it bounced quite high, and the keeper barely was able to reach it. Otherwise, the defender the attacker was through on goal. So yeah, kind of hanging on for half time here now, Antwerp.
In this Benfica game, it's been all Benfica so far in the second half. They've been dominating. They should have scored again a couple of minutes ago. And yeah, like they've all the possession and all the attacks. So I don't know. Hopefully Arouca can force the way back in. And if not, then I guess we are kind of hoping that Benfica, put the game to bed and then go to sleep and concede a consolation goal for Arouca later on. Because I bet we need both sides scoring. So yeah, hopefully it's not. I kind of feel after that Arouca missed penalty toward the end of the first half that maybe it mightn't be our night on that game. But it's 60 minutes in, so there's still a bit of time. Just hopefully,
we've had a lot of luck in the past with late goals in Portugal, though, so I wouldn't give up on it either.
No, that's true. Yeah, we have. So, there's plenty of time for that to happen. Just that it's been all Benfica the second half. Really, Arouca had a bit of a fight back after going down 1-0 on the half-hour mark, but they missed that penalty and they've come back out in the second half without showing too much. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. How are our shot takers looking, Gary? King and Ida?
I say not great in terms of they haven't really gotten in a position to take a shot, but like there's been plenty of attacks, so I wouldn't be writing it off yet. Particularly Ida, he keeps creeping out to kind of the left-hand side of the pitch, so kind of the way Henry would have played, not.
That is a bold comparison now between one goal.
In terms of position, I'm not saying in terms of ability or anything like that, but he keeps sneaking out there, and he's in a load of space because the right back is going wandering, so it's just leaving him in loads of space. It's just whether they can find the right ball at the right time.
Who is the right back for Watford? Not to put you on the spot here.
I think it's Cathcart, unless he's moved to centre half. But Craig Cathcart, I think, used to be anyway. They had been playing Jeremy Ngakia there too, but he got hauled off early on Saturday. So I don't know whether he started today. I'll have a look and see if he started today. But yeah, I don't really. I haven't written off the bet yet. The one thing I'd say is Brandon Williams, like the young guy he's on loan from Man United to Norwich, and he's an absolute fiend for a yellow card. So he was evens for a yellow card today, and I was going to back him. He hasn't been booked yet, but like the tackle he's just put in, he should have been booked. So next tackle he'll be booked. It's Mike Dean as the referee. So I'm just going in now to see in play what his booking would be, because if he's anything evens or above, you should be backing. That's a model to come in. Like,
would you notice the odds changing much on that when that happens in play? Like you're saying, when there's a kind of potential yellow card challenge goes in, and you kind of know the next one's going to be yellow.
It does, but like the times I've looked for it, it hasn't come in as much as I thought it would. When you're looking at one, it's actually really certain. So I've actually made a decent amount of money off it before, but this is the one I've seen the last while, and I'm not really sure whether there's any kind of people who can come on to take his place, that way. So
is it Brandon Williams, Gary?
Yeah, so he's evens on Betfair.
He's still 11 to 10.
A really good bet, because he was evens at start of the match, but he's had to put in like an absolute stinker of a challenge. So he has no more warnings left. Something happened, Albie?
Yeah, Antwerp have taken the lead. Never doubted them.
Nice one.
Unbelievable. Has it been given offside?
Oh, it's still showing suspended.
Oh, God, it's gone offside. What? I was actually going to say, and despite all the good play in this game, I mean, Jesus, I probably is offside as I'm sitting here in my living room now. The guy was about a mile offside. Absolute donkey. I was going to say it was the simplest goal of all time, but I mean, when you're 2.5 yards offside, it's going to look awful easy. So, that's frustrating now. Back to 0-0 there. It's drifting in here, or creeping in here, 4-6 or 2-3 for a 2 goals in this game over 1.5. That's starting to look like a good price. I'm not going to back it myself now, because obviously, I mean, I need 2 goals anyway for Antwerp and the bet, so I'm not going to back it. But anyone who's not involved in this market already, it's definitely a game that has goals got written all over it. Yep. Anything else anywhere to distract me from that?
No,
I'm
well,
just trying to
distract
get
you.
this
I've Antwerp to be leading that game at halftime, so probably has a greater impact on me than your bet, really.
Oh, that would have been nice timing. Yeah, 30,
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
36.
Yeah. There hasn't been any more on the Dutch too. There's plenty of goals in the other games, but the two I have are still 0-0. Just back goals at halftime in those, so it's about 60 minutes now, so plenty of time, but could do with a few goals there. And yeah, Benfica's 67th minute now, and it's still 1-0. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on that one.
Yeah, sounds good. Counter-attack here for Oostende. Antwerp have gotten back and just hustled them over the line there, so throw in, but yeah, plenty of men back now, so nothing to worry about. I wouldn't give up on your bet now. So let me check the odds for a half-time lead. What's that gone out to, Slats?
It's out to 15-4 now, nearly 4-1 for Antwerp. Which isn't bad considering there's still odds on favourites for the game, but I guess you're just up against the clock there. Yeah. 38 minutes. You don't have a huge amount of time left for them to do the business. But it sounded like they were starting to get back on top, and when in the opening 15 minutes they had plenty of chances and plenty of shots. So if they did kind of swing it back around in their favour, they could have a few more chances before halftime to take that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Still 1-0 in the Lyon game. Is anyone watching that? I don't have it on myself. But...
No, I don't have it on either. No, but the stats are in their favour. They've had 70% possession, nearly most of the dangerous attacks. They've only had 2 shots, but Saint-Etienne haven't had any yet. So they're certainly dominating. Would be great for them to kick on and score another before halftime, but you'd be happy just with the 1-0 lead there anyway, really.
Yeah. Yeah, all quiet here. Actually, check the corners in your game, Gary. How are they looking? Out of curiosity,
just been a corner. I was just about to say that. So, actually, just Paul Kelly. So there's been 2 corners so far, LB, but Paul Kelly has commented in on YouTube around the Brandon Williams booking or for a yellow card. So it essentially has that he's backed him at 13-10, and hopefully he keeps showing in the challenges. But a second ago there was a break down the right hand side for Watford, so like down his wing, and Williams put in a challenge in the box. Now he got the ball, but like any missed time on it, it was a penalty and a yellow card. So it's the biggest certainty of all time that he's going to, unless he picks up an injury or something in the next few minutes. But if he stays on for 90 minutes, he's definitely getting a yellow card. At least.
What happens in that market if he gets a straight red and you've backed from?
So there's 2 markets. There's to be booked or to be shown a card. So you depend obviously which one you go for. Oostende have just scored. So yeah, and all. Oh God, it's just what are Antwerp doing here? It's absolutely comical. They've nearly every single player back, and they just like kicked the ball off one of their own players. He just bounced out to, I think, the Oostende winger, and he just poked at it, and it went into the goal. Really, just if you saw it down in the park on a Sunday, you'd think it was crap. I mean, to see it in a professional league is just, I don't know what they're up to here. On the cusp of half time, so I don't know, 40 minutes gone. I guess for the bet in the ACA, we needed Antwerp to score twice anyway, so it doesn't really change things. But I'm very, very glad we stayed away from the -1 market now.
I think it might be gone too far for that as well. But
I've just seen the referee walking around like a bouncer with his hand up to his ear.
I was going to ask you though, for the bet, like you're saying, you need Antwerp to score twice anyway. In certain games, you'd be kind of nearly happy with them going behind to kind of spark a bit of life into them and, put the pressure on them to actually go up and get 2 goals. And there's always the risk that they just win 1-0, if you need 2 goals to be scored in the match. So would you be happy?
Yeah, I can see that.
Or, are you better off?
If it had been earlier, before we had to watch 20 minutes of Antwerp being really crap, I would have said, yeah, maybe it was a good thing. Like if it goes against the run of play or something now, My worry would be that it's just going to, put the wind in the sails of Oostende, and they really push on here. Maybe with half time coming up, it might not matter. Like they're not going to build up any momentum in the next 3 minutes. So maybe all things considered, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But Antwerp are just a bit more vulnerable here than I had expected, considering their form and their general, just imperiousness over the last few.
Just while you were talking, you seen that Verona have equalised?
Yeah,
lovely stuff.
So it actually went. So the ball kind of came across, and the keeper, like when it was going across the line, the keeper dived on it and saved it. So I think the decision on the field was a no goal, and then basically VAR went to the goal decision system and gave it. But it's not. It doesn't have the watches in Italy, do they? In the Serie A, or because
I don't know. I'm not actually sure.
It looked to go to VAR on the pitch because they brought up kind of Hawkeye, and it was suspended for a couple of minutes. So just a thing to note.
Yeah, that goal has been ruled out, by the way. So back to 0-0 again. So a stay of execution for your half-time bets, lads. And
Arouca actually had a decent chance there against Benfica. That would have been great again if they'd equalised there. 20 minutes for Benfica to push on and find a winner. You'd be feeling pretty confident about. So hopefully again it'll just kind of spark a bit of confidence and a bit of life into them, and they're on another attack here, so it looks like they're kind of going for it at least. It's given me a bit more confidence that this bet could still be on.
Yeah, and how's our Dutch Xhaka looking? The 3 goals in the second half.
Yeah, not great, unfortunately. The 2-0 odds. So yeah, we had the treble. Roder up 4-0, so that walked in pretty comfortably. But Maastricht and the Graaschap games are still 0-0. The Graaschap is more worrying. There hasn't been a huge amount of action in the second half. There's been plenty in the Graaschap Volendam. It's like, 22 shots, 7 of them on target. So there's plenty of action there, and I kind of would have expected both teams to score in that match, and I kind of think if one of them, does score soon, the other could come back and equalise. But the Graaschap Almere isn't as convincing. I'd say we'd be doing well for that leg to come in now. It's not looking great. 65 minutes, so still a bit of time. But it'd be the sort of thing. It'd take a goal now to get the game going. But I'd say there's a risk that'll just drift into a 0-0 finish anyway. As rare as they are in Dutch too.
Yeah.
Betis back here, so that's very good for the La Liga game because we have Betis to win and both teams to score. Hopefully our penalty curse won't. It's actually gone to VAR, which could curse us in another way. Does that count as our penalty curse continuing?
I think it would,
in our favour and then VAR rule it out. I definitely feel like VAR never make a ruling in our favour that, if we wanted the penalty to stand, VAR would say it wasn't a penalty, and if we hoped it was ruled out, VAR would. But we'll see here. We want Betis to get this penalty and to score it and to go on and win, because we have the Betis win with both teams to score, which was, I think that was nearly 4-1, was it?
It was huge odds, yeah.
Yeah. And with Verona coming back 1-1 and Lyon leading 1-0, that treble is looking a lot healthier than our own.
Yeah, sure was. Yeah. We'll just claim it as ours anyway if it comes good.
We'll claim it as ours, but unfortunately we won't be able to pay out to the viewers.
That's 1-1 Betis now. They scored that penalty. So
nice.
That's great.
Lovely stuff there. And I saw something else. Oh yeah, Paul Kelly in the comments, based solely on the stats, I've taken a punt on Frankfurt double chance from 2-0 down. That was the game you mentioned earlier, Gary. So similar kind of thinking there.
But it was 1-0 when I looked at it. So obviously that didn't pay off for my analysis. No. Fingers crossed that they do come back for Paul.
Yeah, Paul is a double chance master now. In fairness, he loves that market. So
and nails it quite a bit.
Let me check the time in that one. I'm sure that
it's half time in that German game.
Was it only half time? Oh, yeah, that's very good.
Plenty of time, and they have had more possession, more attacks, more corners, more shots. So
more everything. PK, let us know in the comments what you have, what price you got that at. just out of curiosity.
I can tell you on Bet365 it's 12-5 for Frankfurt double chance, which
is juicy.
Juicy enough, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they get one back, early enough there, you're laughing like.
Yeah, because I was looking at they do score a lot, and the other team concede a lot. If you look at, I didn't look at the home away record now, but just overall, if you look at the league table, the other team have conceded an awful lot of goals, and Frankfurt seem to score an awful lot of goals. I can't remember the exact stats.
Yeah, it's odds on for 2 more goals as well. So, just hoping that they're Frankfurt goals, and you wouldn't be too. Seems like a big jump in price there. So, yeah, I like the sound of that. Good chance here for Antwerp. Come on, right in the cuts. Half time going out for a corner.
I saw there was plenty of injury time given.
4 minutes added on, mostly because of that VAR messing around.
Yeah,
there's a really good chance here. Oh, what a block by somebody for Oostende. If this, I hope for you, Slats, that it gets the goal before half time. But if it doesn't, I'm going to pile on to goals in the second half. It's really, really open here. It's nearly evens for over 1.5. So
yeah, that does seem good.
Yeah,
I'd be tempted myself. I've enough going on at the moment that I'll probably leave it. But
yeah, Paul has commented back in 3.4 on the exchange. Block your ears, Gary. This is a decimal price, but 3.4 on the exchange. So that's good value there. Nice bet. Free in. Yeah, 1 more minute of this half left. If the ref gives what was advertised, he's giving somebody a talking to now. It's going to eat the clock. Something that we didn't need here, but yeah, very soft. It's not free there. I'd nearly jump in and tail your bets, lads, for a goal here in this first half because I feel like it's coming.
But I mean, what have you got left? Like a minute and a half or something?
Let me check the odds. What would you expect it to be? 7-1?
Yeah.
Might even be suspended.
Could even be, like 10 or 12-1.
Bet365 don't even have it up anymore.
They do tend to drop it a little early, but it's also, I mean, the 4 minutes are up. Yeah, it's halftime now, so
gone. Didn't let them take the free. What is that about?
He wouldn't have even got matched.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
I see there's been a shot on target in the Watford game, Gary. I don't know if you mentioned that already.
Yeah, no, it was a centre half from a corner.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see whether they give Tom Cleverley a shot on target or not, because he was taking a free kick from about 35 yards. He tried to cross it in, and literally all he did was chip it into the keeper's hands. Like, I've never seen, it was like a pass back. So it'd be interesting to see, because he definitely wasn't intending to score. And I think there's an intent in most bookies' rules. So, just something to look out for. If you backed Cleverley for a shot on target, you'd be hoping that they take it easy on you. The game's kind of got a bit dead now, to be honest. Watford are getting back into it. Norwich, so the first 15-20 minutes, they looked really, really lively. But a couple of kind of stoppages in play. They had an injury to a centre midfielder who had to go off Sorensen. So he's gone off, and McLean has come on for him. So that kind of took a little bit of this thing out of them. But still anybody's game. Still think they're 10-3 available for Norwich just in the straight win market is a really, really big price, because this has been at a minimum 50-50 in the first half. So they definitely shouldn't be that price.
Arouca just had a free kick there, but they belted it well over the bar. Never looked like threatening. But there's a player for Benfica, and he's wearing one of those. Do you remember those old like rubber swimming caps that used to rip the hair out of your head?
Yeah.
He's got one of them on him. I don't know, is it like some sort of fashion thing, or is it medical or what? Have you ever seen a player wearing one of them? It's a big silver.
Unless he has like a head injury.
No, it's not. It's not a scrum cap. It doesn't look like it would be protecting you from concussion or anything. Arouca actually just had a decent chance there again, and it's out for a corner now. But it definitely looks like it wouldn't be giving you any protection from concussion, just protection from getting chlorine in your hair.
Did you see the update in Spain? Betis have taken the lead, 2-1.
Excellent.
That's lovely stuff there. That's a bit. Yeah, great stuff there, Savage.
Could be a sending off coming in the Watford game.
Please, for who?
For Watford. So actually, Emmanuel Dennis, the Watford striker. Now, I actually think both of them went in 2-footed. So it was whoever made the most contact was going to get the foul given against them. Dennis has had the foul given against him. Just showing the replay here. Oh, do you know, the Norwich player went in 2-footed, but Dennis went in over the top of the ball. So the fact the ref has given a free kick against Dennis, I don't think there'd be anything done about it. But if the Norwich player had a caught Dennis, it's a straight red.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see what VAR does about it. It's just weird that when you see two bad challenges at the same time, it's kind of whichever way it goes, the other one gets off kind of thing, like, you know.
Yeah.
Probably good for our bets that there hasn't been a sending off, but it was two dodgy challenges anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a red card for a bet. No matter what you've backed, I just hate to see them.
Did you back that yellow card, Gary, that you were talking about at evens?
Oh, I did, yeah. Well, I got that at 11-10, yeah.
Nice.
You probably get a bigger price now. I'll go and check what he is now.
I'll surely be a bigger price every time.
15 minutes gone by, so.
Yeah.
Would it drift that quickly, though? You know, like, I mean, obviously there's less chance of it happening with less time on the clock. Is he likely to get subbed, or does he tend to play the full 90?
Sub him off after his booking. Looking at it here, just by the way, so you're Norwich to win, Verona now to win. So I flicked onto the Verona match when it went halftime in Belgium, and I only had it on for about 3 seconds before it went to halftime, so I might have missed it, but it looked like Verona had a good attacking play. You know, the ball at the box, and the ref just blew it up for halftime, and the crowd went bananas, like just booing. So I assume that's what the boom was for. Like I said, I'd only seen a couple of seconds of it, but Verona to go on and win, Norwich to go on and win, and 2 goals in the Belgian game is nearly 16-1 as a treble. So, I mean, Norwich are drawn, Verona are drawn, and there could have been 4 goals in the first half of that Belgian game, 2 already ruled out. So I think that, 16-1 nearly, that's just coming a bit now. So a little over 15-1 is certainly a good price there. I'm actually going to back that. No,
you're getting on that, are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Sounds pretty decent, all right. I'm still praying for Arouca. Arouca have been massively on top the last 10 minutes or so, but they haven't had any like absolute, clear-cut chance. They were kind of in at the keeper, but at a very narrow angle, and the keeper kind of saved it handy enough to put it out for a corner. But they've definitely been on top here. It'd be interesting to see if they did equalize, if Benfica could even turn things around. It's 83 minutes, and like for the bet, I'd be delighted for Arouca to score, but the way it's going, I'm not even sure if Benfica would be able to switch it back on if they do concede. They haven't.
What odds is another goal in that game? 17-10 for another goal. Seems big. You could get caught in the counter. Yeah. I'm going to leave it, but seems like a big price.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that Arouca could get caught on the counter. It's just that Benfica haven't actually looked that dangerous when they have defended the ball out of their own half. They don't look to have that kind of hunger to kick on and seal the win. So it could still happen because Arouca are definitely pushing for an equalizer. So you could get a goal either direction. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be getting on it, seeing as we already have plenty committed to this game already.
Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it off because I think I've got some combination of results in that game in about 3 bets. So
yeah,
it's going to do the treble that I mentioned. So what Norwich to win, Verona to win, and over 1.5 Oostende, Antwerp. That's actually come in since I've said it, so now it's a little under 15-1. I presume.
Yeah, it seems like a decent bet. Slats, you were asking for a price on Williams for a card, so he's 8-5.
Okay, yeah, that is quite a drift. All right, for the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, especially with Mike Dean being the ref because he's card happy, and the fouls that are going in left, right, and centre here, there's definitely going to be more cards. It's only 3-1 for a red card in the match. But as I said, the way the last 10 minutes has gone, that again looks like I wouldn't back it at 3-1, but it looks like a likely outcome at this stage.
Yeah, and I see we picked up quite a few viewers in the last couple of moments on Facebook in particular. So drop us a comment. Let us know what you're watching, what you're betting. If you have any questions about what we're watching or what we're betting, we love to have chats with you. So, get into the comments there. Let us know whatever it is you got your eye on, and we'd happily talk about that. And if our bets do come in, now obviously it depends on a goal, 2 goals, in fact, in the next 6 or some minutes in the Benfica game. But there is money to be won, so there's an incentive there as well if you want to get chatting to us. And still half time now and everything I was watching. So Verona and the Belgian game, got the Serie B on here. Not looking like much of a match really. Parma, Frosinone.
The Lyon game has been suspended here for the last few seconds. I'm not able to watch it, but it's Lyon. It's showing kind of possession around midfield, and it's suspended. So I don't know. Is it a Saint-Etienne card maybe on the way? Maybe it could be red that they're suspending the markets.
Yeah, probably some VAR decision.
Yeah, but it's still 1-0.
Showing a replay of a tackle there that was absolutely innocuous. There's no reason why that would get the suspended.
No.
I'm looking at the replays here. I think there's a player injured. One of the players is down. One of the Lyon players is down here. But it doesn't seem to be anything game altering at the minute.
No, I'm watching Arouca on a bit of an attack here again. They just have a throw in kind of alongside the edge of the box. But no, they're through into the box here. A defender kind of made a bit of a mistake there, but no, the ref's given a free out. So
I feel like that one has gotten away on us now, that game.
I think so. Yeah, that missed penalty in the first half, I think, has kind of killed us.
Always does it. Although I feel it was definitely a Portuguese game before where we needed a team to score and team to win maybe, and they conceded late and then scored even later. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, we had backed them to win over 1.5, and a bit like your game, it's kind of like you're nearly hoping they concede. So that, you need the 2 goals and you need them to score 2 goals if you're backing a win in over 1.5. So they conceded around 87 minutes and went back up and scored around the 91st minute, or something to that effect. But yeah, I think next week I'm just going to pick a bet that definitely isn't finishing first, because I hate being like, even if none or only one of our bets ends up coming in tonight, I hate being the one that it puts the end to the treble.
You killed it, Flat. You killed the bet again. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, don't even.
It was the week where you could avoid it because there was so much on elsewhere, Slats. But I mean, you have to go what you fancy as well. So I wouldn't be adjusting just to have a later game.
No, that's true.
Especially because your record in Dutch football is pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's always kicked off early. But yeah, no, and I did like that game, and I do think if Arouca had scored that penalty, then Benfica would have kicked on and won the game and laughing. So even though it's still just sitting at 1-0, I do think it was the penalty that let us down.
Definitely.
We're coming in on Facebook. I can't say who from, but the comment just says Benfica. So are you watching the Benfica game, or do you have a bet on that game, or you're cheering them on, or what's the logic there? But we do see your comment.
They weren't great odds just for a straight win. It was only, I think it was 2-7 or something like that. And they did go up 1-0 pretty early. So unless you've some other legs on that bet or some other angle on it, that wouldn't have been a huge odds for just the win.
Yeah. Bit of a scuffle here in the Lyon game. One of the Saint-Etienne players is down in a heap. Bit of shoving and pushing, so this seems to be getting feisty. Paquetá there for Lyon is in the mix. I'd say he's the reason that guy is on the ground in a heap. Let me see what happens here. nearly half time there, so probably not much going to happen between now and the next 15 minutes.
Actually, two Watford players having a right go at each other here. The woman is Josh King. The other one I think is Joe Pedro. But Joe Pedro did some really good work down the right wing to get into the box. And he was getting closed down by three players. Had King open at the penalty spot. And instead of passing at the King for a shot, he kind of toe poked it through a defender's legs into the keeper's hands. So King went mental at him, and then basically the camera went on both of them. And if you could lip read, there was a lot of fuck offs and stuff being said. So
King knows that we have him for shots on target, so he's not
exactly.
happy.
He's like, the lads at SportsRunDown have you a 12-5. Come on.
I presume we have none of those 4 shots yet, do we?
Not yet, no. But
No,
like,
I'd seen a second shot on target for Watford, but as you explained, it wasn't King, obviously. So,
like there has been a lot of attacks, and they're like both teams are getting in like a yard into the 18-yard box, and then it's just carnage and no shots are being taken. There's just fouls and like tackles and blocks going in everywhere. So I still think there could be goals in this game, but it just needs one goal to open up. Like I think if there was a goal in the next 5 minutes, like so obviously it's going to halftime now, but the first 5 minutes of the second half, this could end like 3-2, like that way. Because, it has been quite open, but if you're looking at the stats, you wouldn't think it was anyway open at all. So the halftime whistle has just gone there.
I don't know if anyone's still watching the Portuguese game, but it's gone 2-0 Benfica.
yeah,
so
they
70-10 was a good price.
They'd started kind of countering a little, and they were on the attack, and the Arouca defender just shoved your man into the back just as he was about to make his way into the box. It was like, I might as well foul you here rather than trying to tackle you when you get in. And then it was just awful sloppy defending. It wasn't even a great free kick in. Just none of the Arouca defenders attacked it, and it just fell to the feet of a Benfica attacker and just kicked it in past the goalkeeper. The keeper had no chance, really. It still gives a bit of time. I mean, it's gone into injury time now. Let me see what it's showing.
8 minutes.
8 minutes injury time. Jesus, that's actually not bad. And
it could be live already.
Yeah, Benfica have to win. It's just, it probably took the wind out of Arouca sails a bit. Like, they're not going to get anything out of it. Though, I mean, if you looked up and saw 8 minutes injury time, you'd be like, come on, let's bloody go for it. So, yeah, it's a couple of minutes into that injury time already, but it still keeps us some bit alive, which is nice, because it wasn't looking like we were even going to get a bit of a sweat for the end of this game.
I just tuned on, so Arouca are in yellows, lads, yeah?
Yeah, Arouca yellow, yeah. They just fouled there again. Well, it didn't look like much of a foul, really, but yeah, like Benfica were kind of passing around their defence here, but they were doing that a bit earlier, and Arouca were actually getting in on them and stealing and getting attacks out of it. They're not far off doing it here, so I'm happy to see Benfica trying to waste time that way, because they don't seem that capable at doing it. And it's good to see that Arouca are actually trying to. Yeah, they've won the ball back here. They
haven't given up anyway.
No, they haven't. No, they're definitely going for it here. All right. Which is,
I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but if that penalty had been scored, you just know this better come in.
I was literally just about to say the exact same thing, that fucking penalty, like.
Yeah, I absolutely think it would have. Because Benfica were obviously odds-on favourites to win the game, and they haven't been that impressive in the second half, but they haven't needed to be either, because they had the lead. So I do think they would have pushed on and won had Arouca scored that penalty in the first half.
Yeah. Why do we never get that when we back a team to win to nil at the other crowd by some penalty? Like,
no, not ever.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Swim Cap, if you're watching it there, Gary, it's the lad wearing the swimming cap is down holding his knee.
Yeah, I saw that actually. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it is like.
I can't.
The pitch is fucking awful as well. So, anything could happen, even just an off pass or something like that. The way the ball is bobbing about, could get Arouca in. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, this fella looks like he's going to try milk it for a few minutes. The swimming cap is down on the ground. But
No cards are out.
yeah. Still a couple of minutes there, though, so definitely always a bonus to be getting 8 minutes injury time handed to you. I didn't watch all of the second half, but I didn't see whatever it was that led to that 8 minutes.
I'm just after seeing the swimming cap properly.
In
And
full.
it actually is the only thing I can think of is that he cut his head in the first half, and they've stuck a bandage on, and then that to keep the bandage on.
Yeah, that's actually a good guess.
How would you even have one of them? I doubt the doctor's carrying around the swimming cap.
Yeah, well, after I saw him going down there, I thought maybe he was just wearing it for all the diving he's been doing. But I think your one actually has a bit more sense to it.
First time for everything.
But yeah, it's Benfica were kind of holding up possession comfortably enough there the last minute or so since that free kick. So they've definitely run down a bit more of that clock. Still about a minute and a half left on it. So hopefully Arouca are back in possession now. And in fairness to them, they do still seem to be kind of trying to get something out of this game, even though, the chances of them getting a draw are almost...
Yeah, but you write it off like that, but then you look at that Spurs result during the week, and they must have been about 80 to 1 or 100 to 1, I'd say, to win that game. 2 injury time
They were
goals.
999 to 1.
Were they? So
Really?
Match on the exchange.
My God.
Oh, wow. So, okay, grand, you probably, break your neck every time, and maybe once every 5 seasons you actually get the result out of it. But if you don't keep fighting, you're not going to get any result. So.
Shit. Yeah, the ref gave a free there as Arouca were on the attack, but it was a free out rather than the free in that we needed. It was hard to see which way it was going to go, just because the defender kind of went into him a bit, and the ball came back up off his hand. It seemed a bit harsh for a free.
Yeah.
Oostende. Hello. So I was just my mic on. Oostende have scored immediately after the restart in Belgium.
You've backed over 1.5 there now, though, have you?
Yeah, in a treble. So that's probably the ideal result there. Or the ideal start to the half. But Antwerp. Antwerp were just unbelievable for that first 15 minutes. Could have been 2-0 up and then have just fallen to pieces. So that is 1-0 Oostende with 47 on the clock, I think.
It's full time there anyway in Benfica, so that little bit of hope it gave us didn't come off, unfortunately.
Such a respectable look on things. We have the hard luck story to tell.
Well, we do at least, yeah. The 2-0 at 1-0, you're kind of trying to sell they would have won 2-1 if it was a penalty. So yeah, at least we had the 2 goals for Benfica. Definitely unlucky. Yeah, we've talked about how many penalties we've missed. I know we've talked about it as well that Bet365 do a live. You can back whether a penalty be scored or missed in play after the penalty's been awarded, and I'm genuinely thinking of putting money into my Bet365 account just for when we're live on air and there's a penalty given.
It feels like it's gone on too long now. Like we're due a run of 40 consecutive penalties being scored.
It's like you're sitting at the roulette table and it's been 15 blacks in a row and you're going, Jesus, I should start getting on black here. It's that all the time, and it's just going to swing back to red for 15 times in a row instead.
Yeah. What if you thought about it before? Is it 7-2 or something like that, or 10-3? What price is it usually for a corner for penalty to be missed?
Yeah, I think it's 7-2. Yeah, or maybe it's just 3-1. Yeah, it's 2-9 for it to be scored and 3-1 for it to be missed. I think that's what they give, and it doesn't seem to vary over different leagues or kind of standards of football. I guess if you've a higher standard striker, then you have a higher standard goalkeeper. So maybe there isn't any difference in it.
Yeah.
But that just seems to be their standard. And, they probably have kind of limits on how much, how big a stake they accept anyway. And I'm sure, over time
it's nearly a novelty market, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. Not for us because it affects us so frequently. It could definitely at least return our stakes or that sort of thing. If the penalty misses, at least your bet is riding for free after it. That's kind of what I'd be looking to do with it.
Yeah, completely. Is a corner here, I believe, to Antwerp, or a free from the sideline? I can't see it there, but Antwerp have got a corner. Yeah, come out like a team possessed after that. After conceding that early second half goal.
You'd have to fancy another goal to be scored there now in the remaining 40 minutes of that.
2-11 for the goal, 5-6 for 2 more goals. That's a bit on the cheap side. I mean, it's just so soon after the goal, that was scored.
Yeah, you kind of need to wait for the dust to settle to kind of make the call on it anyway. But yeah, I don't know. The way, like, the amount of chances Antwerp had, like, surely they're at least just going to go all guns blazing to equalise there anyway.
There was they lost possession, and the Oostende players broke to get for a counter attack, and then they just lost the ball. But like, they are not sitting back on this 1-0. Like, they are happy to counter here so far. So here we go, 3-on-3 for Oostende. Played it a bit wide. He's lost the ball, I think. Yeah, he played the pass went a bit wide, but Oostende are still dangerous in this game.
I've been watching the Frankfurt game here for a while, and like, Frankfurt again, they're getting into a lot of good positions, but they just haven't looked threatening. I still think if they get one back, they could definitely get a draw out of this. But there's only 20 minutes left, and I said they're just not threatening as much as you'd expect from the team. I think they're really missing the fans. It's weird seeing them in an empty stadium because it's normally a fairly good atmosphere there, like,
Yeah, completely. It's even strange watching this Belgian game, Gary, and there's no fans either, and the echoes around the stadium. It reminds me back of 2020.
I was just going to say, it took so long to get used to that when they started bringing the sport back initially a couple of years ago.
They playing the fake fans sound and all that. God, it seems like a lifetime ago.
That was awful.
Yeah, and they get it wrong sometimes as well, and it just wouldn't be quite the right tone. Antwerp got a corner. Oostende got a corner from their counter-attack. Antwerp then countered from that, lost the ball. Now Oostende are countering from that other one. I mean, it's 2-9 for another goal in this game. Like, it's probably the easiest 22% you'd ever make. I just can't see how.
$9,000 stake.
Yeah. So it looks like that it's just so open. And like I sort of said in the article on SportsRunDown.com, both of these teams could do with the points for very different reasons. And in a sense, because they're so far apart in the table, it's nearly a free swing, So Oostende certainly don't look like they're settling for this here. So very, very. All the signs point to this staying open, especially if Antwerp continue to be as crap as they've been.
This Verona game is back on, and like the stats are really showing Verona being on top. I might actually throw that on now that the Portuguese game is over, because they're evens just for the win. I know for our bet of over 2.5 goals, like, all we need now is a Verona win. We had Verona and over 2.5, so obviously any win is going to do that now. But they've so much of the possession and attacks and shots. And having come back from 1-0 down to 1-1, I always feel that, the team coming back, equalising, has the kind of momentum to kick on then. There could be a bet in backing them for the win there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it for a few minutes and see if it's worth jumping on. But yeah, that treble is still very much alive, right? Betfair aren't offering me any cash out on it, so I kind of had forgotten that it was still.
Which treble is that? Sorry, Slits.
Sorry, so I did Verona to win and over 2.5. I did Betis to win and both teams to score, and I did Lyon to win -1.
That's definitely still on.
Oh yeah, it's like Betis up 2-1 at half time, and Verona from being down 1-0 to equalising. They're looking good. Lyon have, been dominating that half. Fair enough, they're only 1-0, but we just need to win the second half 1-0 again, and that leg is in. So, Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I think it's the -1 market that Betfair don't offer a cash out on. So as part of the treble, I'm not getting offered anything. But I wouldn't be cashing out of that bet anyway. There's still plenty of time in each of those games. And yeah, like I was saying, Verona have been on top. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that game and I'll see how the others unfold then as well. But yeah, it was about 12-1 for that bet, I think. So pretty decent odds.
I think I've done that as well, but I think I did the -2. I was looking through my bets there, but obviously, the handicap market has no cash out, which is quite strange that it doesn't have it. But
yeah, it's a common enough market, and it's surely like derivative of the win itself. You know what I mean? Like it's going to follow the same trend, and I don't really see why they wouldn't cover it in the cash out. But yeah. I mean, again, sometimes I kind of like not having the option. You know, when it's going all right, you're nearly better off just letting it run. The over 2.5, yeah, you were saying you got about 25-1 or something for that, was it? Maybe even more.
-2, no, I think it was like 43. I think
was it 43-1? Jesus, and the other two are the same: Verona to win and over 2.5, and Betis to win and both teams to score.
Yeah.
My God, that.
But I guess you're moving it from an even monies to an early 3-1 stake. You know.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah.
A very good chance here for Oostende. Oh, they just overran it. Well, we see what this is gone into now for a single goal. It is 1-4 now for a goal.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to be putting on a hefty stake for that to be worthwhile, but you gotta feel it's coming too. Like a 25% return isn't to be sneezed at, I suppose. If you're staking it right.
Yeah.
Put the mortgage onto it.
Corner.
Responsible gambling here on Sports.
I'm only joking, obviously.
Yeah,
but then I see
here from
corner. I'm like,
it's a corner here for Antwerp. So let's see if they can do anything with this now. This really brings my bet back in as well if they can score this.
What's that bet again, LB?
The Antwerp and over 1.5. Just that leg of the bet.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, God, I forgot that. Like, yeah, your leg isn't. Not that I'm, hoping it doesn't come in or anything, but it takes the shame.
but it sounds like that.
Yeah, I definitely hope your over 1.5 goals comes in anyway.
Yeah,
only need one more there. Yeah, I still haven't managed. I keep getting distracted from getting this Verona game up. I have it up there now. So, yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. Verona are on the attack here, but no, they kind of lost possession there. So, free out now. And I saw, Gary, the Watford Norwich game. The second half has kicked off there. Is there any early action for us in the second half?
Yeah. So Watford had an attack there. Joe Pedro just blazed over. Sorry, I was actually just looking at. This is the second week in a row where we've had a Serie B game on the same time as us. And forget who it was last week, but there was a big priced outsider that won. And Parma Frosinone. I think Frosinone were 9-2 to win that game today, and they're 1-0 up. So maybe an angle to be looking at in the Serie B with the outsider away teams. Yeah, in the Norwich game, I said Watford kind of started off best in the second half. Ida has just been on the counter attack there, but he's given away a foul, so a little bit scrappy. It's only 3 minutes in, so still plenty of time for some action.
Yeah, sounds good. And speaking of action, Gary, I'm not sure if now. 1-1, lovely. Antwerp just scored. Sweet. I think this is going to go to VAR, though. They're not really celebrating.
Never a good sign.
No, nobody's celebrating here. I'm getting a feeling here that this guy who scored the goal might have been an ex-Oostende player. The way he's just absolutely not celebrating anything here.
Yeah, I like Bet365 they don't have it suspended or anything. They're showing 1-1 as if that
It's a
goal is
really,
good.
really good finish.
So maybe it is that thing where you just didn't want to celebrate.
Yeah, one of the Antwerp players kind of lined up a shot from outside the box. Everybody stepped to block it. He just rolled it into the path of one of his colleagues in the box, who just put it, from the right-hand side of the 6-yard box across into the left-hand corner. Yeah, back on 1-1. Oh, lovely. So that's one leg in, and the Aka that we went in play, and the pre-game bet looking back on track here now at 1-1. Much better to be 1-1 than 0-0, I think, at this stage.
So just remind me what your in-play Aka was. So you had over 1.5 in that, and what did you throw that in with?
Norwich to win and Verona to win.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
it was about 6. It was just under 16 to 1 when I first said it, and then it came into just under 15 to 1 by the time I got it on. So so that's that one. I was going to say, speaking of action, Gary, I'm not sure if now you want to talk us through your EFL bets for the weekend. You got a fourfold up for us on SportsRunDown.com.
Yeah, still kind of reeling from last week because I had travel up last week, and I really fancy QPR. They were 12-5. They got the job done. Exeter to win at home. That was kind of a penalty kick. They won 2-0 fairly handily. So my bet was Exeter and over 1.5. That came in pretty easily. And then the last leg of the treble was Sutton United away to Stevenage. And Sutton just had like a brain fart 10 minutes in the first half and went 2-0 down. And then ended up getting back to 2-2, went 3-2 down, got back to 3-3 in the 90th minute, but just couldn't get the winner. So it was kind of a hard luck story, but if they hadn't had that kind of 10 minutes, then I've no doubt it would have came in. On to this week, though, there's 27-1 Aka, and I think it's got a fairly good chance. So the first game is Swindon Bristol Rovers. Now, it's an early kickoff tomorrow. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff in the UK. So anybody who's getting on them, normally my bets are 3 p.m. kickoffs. But Swindon to beat Bristol Rovers. So Swindon are 5th in the league. Bristol Rovers are 16th. Norwich have just scored.
I saw it up on the screen. I didn't want to interrupt you. I was like, I'll leave him alone. Yeah.
But it's still suspended. It's still suspended
under VAR.
on Bet365, yeah.
Let me have a look at it here. So, yeah, the VAR looks to be... Oh, what a goal. It's a scorpion kick kind of goal from...
nice.
I didn't know the player, but...
unfortunately.
I was going to say,
Pukki could have fouled the defender in...
Pukki, go back to Finland.
I think it'd be a soft foul, but it's a 50-50 call.
I think it's given.
Well, the game is back in Norwich. The odds are back on Betfair. Norwich are 4-6.
Yeah,
1-0 up.
The goal is given, but
amazing.
Yeah, it's some goal. Really, really good goal. As at the 10-3 about Norwich was an insane price, I thought. But yeah, sorry, onto my EFL. Before I was rudely interrupted by myself. So Swindon, Bristol Rovers. So Swindon is the bet there. They're 5th in the league. They're playing Bristol Rovers. The one kind of worry I have is that Swindon haven't been great at home this season, but they have a lot to play for. They're still in the automatic promotion race, so they need a win tomorrow. The next is Fulham against Stoke. So again, this is kind of a mad price for a team that have done so well recently. So in their last 3 games, Fulham have won 7-0 away from home, 6-2 at home. So like they're absolutely destroying teams since the turn of the new year. I
was reading that article today. I thought you made a mistake. I was like, these can't be real score lines.
No, 7-0, 6-2, 6-2. Absolutely insane. So I'm going for Fulham to win and both teams to score. Stoke are a decent team. And as you can see in the 6-2, 6-2, but even in the 7-0, there was 2 goals scored by Reading that were disallowed by VAR, or I think they might have been for offside. I don't know whether no, it's not VAR because VAR is in the championship, but they were disallowed for offside. But Andy Carroll scored them. There were 2 really good goals, like kind of world class strikes from 30 yards and stuff. So, like, if they had been onside, it would have been goals against them. So I think Fulham will win because they have way more firepower up front. But Stoke are a decent team and should get on the score sheet. So that's 11-4. Then Newport County are away to Scunthorpe. So Scunthorpe are brutal. They're 23rd in the league. Newport are a decent team. Again, Newport are just in the playoff positions, but there's a load of teams chasing them for that playoff spot. So they really need to win tomorrow. And I think they'll turn over Scunthorpe very easily. And then the last leg is Forest Green at home to Carlisle. So Forest Green, top of the table. They've only lost 2 games all season. They haven't lost themselves since like October. Just on a really good run. I have them and over 1.5 goals in the bet at around evens as well. So that ACCA is 27-1. I said Swindon is the dodgy leg. It's the 1 o'clock kickoff. If you get by that leg, then I think it has a really, really good chance of landing. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, it looks. I was actually thinking about that one to myself when I was reading it earlier. I thought if you didn't have the odds up for each individual leg, you just said this is the bet, and then the description, this is the bet, this is the bet, and you got to the end, I would have said it was probably like 14-1 based on the way you'd written it up, and then it was 27. You're just like, okay, this is unreal. So yeah, really, really like to look at that one. I'm going to be on it for sure.
Forest Green have been doing the business this season for your picks anyway, haven't they? Like they're pretty reliable.
Yeah, they're just by far the best team. It's kind of like Fulham as well. Like Fulham are by far the best team in the division, especially when they're like they have their good players playing well. And that's what's happening now is that every player that has ability has kind of clicked, and they're just tearing teams to shreds. But Forest Green have been like that all season. And I
a bit of value there when you throw in the goals like over 1.5, even like that's not asking too much from them, and they're delivering that a lot, and they're getting the home wins. Like
exactly, because 1-0, like, and they're not a team that if they score early, they don't just sit back. They keep going to score more. So yeah, I think obviously the both teams to score element in the Fulham match is a little bit of you need a little bit of luck for that, but I think the 11-4, given that they haven't been keeping clean sheets recently, is a decent angle. So if you did take it with just a Fulham win, I think the bet goes down to something like 15-1. So if you're looking for a less conservative bet, just go with the evens about Fulham, and it'll be a 15-1 ACCA.
I mean, 10 full points on the price of that for just one team to score. Like it's not. It's not like you're looking for like a 1990s style Juventus to concede. It's a, so I think it's a great value to add that leg in, or that part of the leg in. So yeah, definitely going to back that. Here in Belgium, Oostende and Antwerp both had chances to score when you were gone, Gary, and when you were talking. Neither of them did, so still 1-1. Just about 69 minutes gone.
Also, Betis went up 3-1. I was going to say, so that leg is looking very comfortable for Betis to win and both teams to score, but it's a Espanyol corner now and it's suspended, so I don't want to speak too soon. It looks as if it's going to be a free out, but yeah, it's looking good anyway at 3-1, and that leg itself was almost 4-1, so that's looking like a great shout. And one of those ones where I'd say Savage was probably pretty happy with Espanyol going up 1-0, even though we were kind of thinking maybe it was looking a little dodgy. But yeah, Betis.
It's so different when you're not watching. You make your pick and you're like, this is what I fancy to happen. When you're watching it, you get really into it. You don't want the team. You want maybe the away team or the underdog to score first, but not to go too far ahead and all sorts. So you stress yourself out a lot. But yeah, in hindsight, it's a very comfortable looking. 2-1 Antwerp. What a goal. What a quick goal.
Sounded like that was coming.
Yeah, they so reliable Antwerp. I mean, they've been dominating this.
That's not what you were saying in the first half.
No, I'm joking. You'd be livid if you're not. They had like 15 minutes either side of half time, like 30 minutes in total. They could have put this game to bed. Only went 1-0 up, and strange celebration here when the Antwerp players is showing a message to an empty stand. So performing for the like lifted up his jersey, he had something on his vest, but there's nobody in the stand, so I think he's just performing for the cameras. Raced down the right wing, really nice ball, kind of took out the two sort of left-sided Oostende players, and the winger got to the corner flag almost, and just a bit closer to the edge of the box, but right on the byline, pulled it back in, and one of the Antwerp forwards just rocketed it into the top corner from the little bit to the right of the penalty spot. Keeper hadn't a chance. So that's 2-1 there. So that's now both calls in the Belgian match looking good. Antwerp and goals, and then just over 1.5. But we said at halftime, this game, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another goal in this match if it stays as open. Antwerp could score it very soon.
It is just one step closer to that bloody penalty letting down our treble. With Norwich taking the lead there as well. Like if Norwich went up 2-0 now, you'd be kind of looking at any other goal in that game.
True. Absolutely true. But just before that happened, and before we got in, like Gary earlier, I interrupted myself. We were talking about Savage's call tonight, and then just want to give his weekend article a quick kind of recap as well for anyone who wants to go read it. We said it on a few of the streams. His La Liga articles are a very different style to any of the rest of the content on the site. It's much more kind of general sports review and preview and talk than maybe the more gambling focused that the rest of the content is. But it's still very useful information if you're trying to have a bet. Like we saw tonight, he gave us his thoughts on the game, and then, I mean, you said this that was nearly 4-1 for Betis to win and both teams to score. It looks like it's in the bag now. 3-1 here. He had 2 calls last week. They were both right. And then he had the double tipped up as well at just outside 3-1, maybe 10-3 or something. So another 5 units pocketed there if you're following his tips. So this weekend, he focuses on the bigger matches. So he's got Atletico Madrid, Valencia. I mean, I know Atletico had a lot of struggles this season, but he thinks that this is the kind of crunch time for them now. If they don't start picking up points, they could even miss out on Champions League next season. He's gone with a more conservative call there, which is both teams have scored 11-10, which probably historically you'd never have gone near in an Atletico Madrid match, or certainly I wouldn't have, but this season they've not been their usual selves. So yeah, he reckons Valencia to maybe grab a goal and even a point away to Atletico this weekend. He seems to have a bit of a crush on Vinicius Jr. He's in every single article, and he's pretty much the goal of the week every single week. But he's picked him to score any time Real Madrid against Elche, so that's 19-20. And I mean, based on how many times he gets goal of the week, you just have to assume he's banging them in all season. It seems like a good price. I think that the main point there is that you're not getting any value on Madrid at all to win that match. They are winning nearly every match, so you couldn't really lay them. But at the same time, in their last couple of games, they've needed very, very late scores to actually take the points. So bit of a risk if you're just backing the result there, even though Elche are pretty terrible away from home. So he's gone with Vinicius Jr. or Vinny Jr. as he calls him to get a goal. And then the last matchup is Barcelona travel to Alaves. And I haven't really watched much of the Barcelona revival under Xavi, but Savage likes to look at them at the minute. He thinks they've actually picked up a couple of good results recently, and a Barca win there and over 1.5 is just inside evens. So the 3 of those are the tips, and I think it's about 13-2 for the treble there. So I'll also be back in that treble myself as well.
Nice one, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I like that 19-20 for the anytime goal score.
Yeah.
Like you're saying,
back over the week.
Those articles so often, yeah, you'd have to fancy it to be, almost even money for it seems pretty good, and for a, against a relatively weak opposition or a opposition who concedes a bit. Yeah. I'm surprised that Lyon haven't kicked on. They're still sitting on that 1-0, and it's about 60 minutes gone. They've only had 2 shots on target, so I don't know. Maybe it's a case that Saint-Etienne, once it starts heading toward the end of that game, they'll just tire a bit and lose a bit of that concentration. But I would say that's it's still looking pretty good for Lyon -1, but Lyon -2 is looking like a little bit of a stretch now. So I guess if they were to go up 2-0, and effectively, wrapping up the win, it might make Saint-Etienne just kind of give up on things a bit too. So you wouldn't know.
Yeah. I don't know why I bother doing handicap bets. I never like them, and then I get talked into them, or not talked into them. I get fear of missing out. I get FOMO of somebody else getting on it, and I get on it, and then
Who doesn't? Yeah. The odds always do look good on the handicaps. Like, when you're looking at the win, or even like, obviously the handicap is going to be better than just over 1.5 because you need that team to get the full over 1.5 for -1. But yeah, they do tend to look good, and it's that kind of thing. Like, if they won 3-1, they'd be pretty comfortable. They'd be going home happy with a 3-1 win. You'd be going home raging with your -2. So
just concentrating on the Norwich game here, but it was weird. Like, there was no action, so obviously I haven't got the commentary on. I couldn't understand what was going on. But half of the floodlights went in the match, so they're still trying to get it on. But how lucky would that be? Like, if the game got disallowed got called off because of floodlight failure, and Norwich are getting one of their first wins of the season or whatever.
That'd be
it
cruel.
looks like they're starting to come back on now, but there's still kind of half the floodlights. They've all just gone out again.
A relegation 6-pointer, like, you'd be tempted to just go down and fiddle with the box yourself and make sure they don't come back on.
Yeah.
Not that I'd ever do anything like that.
At what point does a result stand in football, or does it not? Like, will they play the full 90 minutes, or do they just play the remaining 25 or 27 or whatever?
I could be wrong. If it goes over 75, I think they just play the remaining. But anything else, they'll start from scratch again.
Right. Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. I've definitely seen them come out and finish a couple of minutes. When it's got to minute and being called off, I've seen them come out and play 2 or 3 minutes. But I'm not exactly too sure of the threshold.
Yeah,
looking at it here,
it says that, but
according to FIFA, it's 60 minutes.
60, and they're on 63 now. So maybe it was the Norwich doing the job. And
no, but it's been gone at least 5 minutes, so it would have been around the 60-minute mark.
Jeez, it would have been close then. I mean, the clock on Bet365 is stopped at 63, but yeah, that's not to say that that it didn't keep going for a few minutes after the lights went out.
Yeah. No, mine is like just going on 66. So
commented on Facebook here from Rennie, who I think it says Watford judge is dog, which I'm not sure, but it seems to be some slight at Watford. So we've all got Norwich backed here tonight ourselves, so I would agree with the sentiment, if that is the sentiment. If it's not, by all means, let us know what you're thinking there, Rennie. My treble there that I did of the goals in Belgium, Verona to win and Norwich to win, is like, it's not much of a cash out. I like maybe the equivalent of a 5-2 return, but pretty miserly compared to the 15-1 if Verona managed to get a goal. I think I'm actually going to turn off this Belgian match now. We're not going to win the ECA, obviously, because that's early kickoff has not come in, but I'd be more concerned about my influence treble now. That's what I was tempted, but then I thought my bet actually hasn't won yet, so I'm just going to hang on. Yeah. I'm going to watch this Verona game instead.
If you're going to throw that on, because I feel like every time I flick onto the Verona game, it's just like a free out from an opponent's or like a team's own half, or else a substitution. There's been a few shots there, but I seem to be missing any of the action that is happening. I might jump in and see how the Lyon game is going. Watch that for a few minutes, because we need another goal there. They're up 1-0, but I have them -1 anyway, so I need them to score again.
It's weird what's going on here, because like 80% of the lights are working, and like there's no real dark patches in the pitch. So like they could definitely just play this game. I think they're just being pedantic.
Bobsworth won't let them get back on.
Yeah, it's Mike Dean loving being the centre of attention. He knows the cameras on. It's gas the Watford keepers just come over and ask them, can you go for a piss?
No way.
Like white doors and toilets, then right in. Like,
I mean, fair enough. You know what I mean? You could be out there for 20 minutes longer than you expected to be,
Yeah.
This is quite a scrappy game now from what I just flicked on. Mostly Bologna. Lovely little play there. Overran it. the Verona keeper had all the time in the world, and he just hit it first time straight out for a throw to Bologna, right on the edge of their own box. I forgot that Arnautovic was there.
Yeah, Arnie, like, they probably take him back at West Ham. I actually wouldn't be surprised if West Ham went back in for him, because Moyes loved him, and obviously West Ham are short up front, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went back in for him.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I think there was a lot of, in my opinion, and it's been a while since I was going to West Ham matches with you, Gary. But when we used to go together, there's a lot of negativity around the club and the fans and some of the players as well. And I just think that they got rid of a couple of the players whose attitude was a little bit too big for their boots, and then things are going from good to better for West Ham. I wouldn't go near him if I was involved in West Ham.
I would be the same for team morale. I'd keep him away, but I know Moyes loved him, so. It wouldn't surprise me, but I would totally agree with you there.
Yeah. That's rare that we agree that quickly on a point. I was kind of priming myself to have my comebacks ready, and then we agreed. It's like, all right, cool.
No,
so,
I definitely do. Like, as you said, it's taken them so long to kind of get something good going that you want to bring the right type of character in. You don't want someone and they all work, like, no matter who's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas, you don't want, it's like when Ronaldo comes in to United and starts throwing his arms up in the air and stuff. You don't want that in your team.
No, absolutely not.
Since I flipped onto this Lyon game, it's just frustrating that Lyon are just sitting so comfortably on that 1-0, passing the ball, back and forth across their defensive line, trying to bring Saint-Etienne on, and they're just looking absolutely happy with this 1-0 scoreline. They obviously don't have -1 back themselves, so and like Saint-Etienne are kind of chasing them down a bit, but they're not really effectively causing Lyon any problems with the possession. So it's not even pushing Lyon into a kind of a counter-attack opportunity because they're just so comfortable. And, here Saint-Etienne just got, frustrated chasing them around and gave away a free kick, but the free kick is around halfway, so it's not anything dangerous, or, it mightn't even go forward. It could just go back to the keeper or something. Yeah.
Since I turned this game on, it's been entirely Bologna. I don't even know if Verona had the ball. They got it there, they broke, excuse me, and now they've down. Nice ball into the box. Didn't see who tried to head it, but it got cleared out for a corner now. So it is a Verona corner. Crowd are absolutely rocking. Bologna are out to 11-1 here with 10 minutes to go, and I think that's a very high price, though, based on the few minutes that I've seen. Let's see if Verona can do something from this corner. Straight out for a goal kick. Absolutely crap corner.
Just back underway in the Watford game here now.
Did they get it sorted, or did they just say, like, yeah, we can play with the lights that are left?
I'm not exactly sure, like, because I'm not listening to the commentary. There does look to be one slightly darker patch on the far side of the pitch, so maybe one or two of the lights didn't come back on, but it's bright enough to play a game of football and not have any.
Ask all the fans to turn their phone torches on like they're at a concert.
They actually had that on, yeah. They were doing that the first few minutes while the issue was there. Everybody had the torches on.
I thought my joke was original, but I'm probably not even in the top 20,000 people who thought of it today.
Plastered all over Twitter already.
Yeah.
I just flicked onto the rugby there. Harlequins are losing at home to Cast. Harlequins were huge odds on for that. They're still favourites to win it. They're only down by 4 points with 15 minutes left. But I wasn't even really paying any interest to that game because it looked like it was going to be so one-sided.
It's what we've talked about before, though, like a team that were big favourites before the match. So they were expected to be the better team. Oh, bit of news there, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
We'll wait till he catches up with us.
Yeah. Oh, I see it too now.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see because it hasn't cut up on my screen, so I'm waiting to see who actually.
God, that penalty is going to be. That penalty could be all it's costing us.
Yeah, it's really looking that way because now any goal in that game.
Verona. Oh yes.
Oh, sweet. Verona scored.
Sweet. Yeah. Excellent. What a lovely counter-attacking goal.
Feck's sake, I just turned that game off to watch the bloody Lyon game, and you jumped in and catch the goal.
Oh, class. Yeah, really, really just wrap it down the right wing, ball squared across from kind of the sideline into about the 6-yard box, and then just tapped in. So really nice finish there. Crowd gone nuts. That's my treble now, is just basically Verona not to concede, and it wins at 15-1, because Norwich are not going to lose. They're 2-0 up. I suppose it's only 47 minutes on the clock in the Norwich game, is there?
No.
It's not. I don't know what they've done there. There's about, I'd say, 63.
So Betfair's gone back to 48.
I think what Betfair did was the restart of the second half. But it's not a restart of the second half. This goal could get disallowed for offside.
Is it still suspended, is it?
But it would be really, really hard.
I think it's given. Bet365 is showing 75 minutes. They paused it on 63 minutes for a while, but they still might be a few minutes ahead. But I'd say by the look of it, it's probably past the 70-minute mark.
Yeah,
I actually underplayed how good
the odds have given it here on Betfair, but the little pitch hasn't started, and on my screen it hasn't started back yet. So it has started back now. So definitely a goal given. There was one of those really, really close offsides in the build-up, but it was about 2 phases before the goal. So it would have been harsh to pull it back for such a long period. Great goal of Sargent. So he's a young player. I'd say he's only 19, 20, and he scored kind of a scorpion kick and a bullet header today. So having
fair play.
A nice game from him.
Whatever happens in the rest of this game, if we had 15 minutes to be waiting on any other goal in Norwich Watford for a 46-1 winner, there'd be enjoyment in that in itself. It's so sick that we don't even have that to.
Playing the last week off this, isn't it, Gary?
Oh yeah, definitely. We were getting so many calls right, but we just couldn't get them right in the right combination.
The Antwerp Oostende game is suspended at the moment, but it looks like it's an Oostende yellow card. So, I mean, maybe it's an Antwerp penalty, but maybe just a free kick. I'm just still keeping an eye on that one for the treble, even though it's dead, but. Just to see that definitely would be coming in. There's only 2 minutes left on the clock, and Antwerp are still winning 2-1. Betis have gone up 4-1 as well, if that needed to be any more.
Fair play to Savage. That's a call there.
Yeah, great show at nearly 4-1.
Yeah, only for a very small stake. Earlier, I put on a bet. It was just a long odds thing, and it actually looks. No, it's not going to win because it has over 2.5 in that Lyon game, and everything else is looking good. It has Verona, Betis, Norwich. All kind of things like that, and but over 2.5 in that stupid Lyon game. Oh God!
Yeah, they did have another shot there, and they do have a bit of time left. But and actually, Saint-Etienne had it. Jesus, that's a poor miss, really. No, that is Lyon. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Considering that now, he was 1-on-1 at the keeper. Defender kind of coming across his path, but he had plenty of time to get a shot off. 1-on-1 inside the penalty spot, nearly at the 5-yard box or whatever, and just hit it basically straight at the keeper, a little down to his left, but keeper saves it comfortably. God, it's a shocking miss, really.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a painful loss if that's the only leg that lets that bet down. Cash out creeping up to the full amount now in that treble, by the way, so that's.
Yeah, it's probably being helped by the fact that Emmanuel Dennis has been sent off for Watford. So that
nice.
3-1 for a sending off actually landed.
Jesus.
I just saw it there first time. It looked harsh enough. He went in one of those bouncing balls and where a player's kicking, and he went in to block it, but caught his foot with his studs. It's definitely a foul. I mean, it probably should be a yellow card, but I don't think there was any intent there. So the ref definitely could have let him off with it, given that it was his second yellow. A striker as well. It's kind of just one of those challenges that a striker puts in, I think. Oh, he hardly even catches him. Oh, that's not a yellow card. I don't think he hardly catches him. And I think that's unlucky. He wasn't even stamping down. He was just going to block the ball. So I think it's an unlucky red card, but helps your bet significantly.
Yeah, big time. I can take a 14-1 cash out now from the 15-1 that was there. I don't even think I'll bother. Like 89 minutes. Verona
let it ride.
Verona looking far more comfortable now, I would say, with the Bologna pressure. Bologna got a bit desperate here, really. It was funny that the 10 minutes that were there that I watched before that goal, Bologna were really, really worrying Verona. The crowd were kind of jeering and stuff. It just was going wrong for them. But now it's a lot more comfortable. They'll soak this pressure up all day, I'd say, by the looks of it. Probably not going to regret saying that, but
Lyon had a 4-on-2 here. They kind of broke away from Saint-Etienne free kick, and like fella was played in again, like pretty much one-on-one. He had a shot without much pressure from any defender, and just kind of scuffed it over the bar. Oh, 2 awful misses from Lyon in the last few minutes.
I was going to say the -2 could be in already based on what you've been telling me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, Saint-Etienne had a free kick from well outside the box. I don't even know, would you consider it a goal threat really? But they haven't had much else other than that either. So yeah, all the main chances I've spotted since turn. I've only been watching it for 5 or 10 minutes, and yeah, Lyon have had two chances you'd expect them to bury most days.
Yeah.
Watford are just imploding here now. Norwich had a corner. Wasn't even a great corner. Defender was going for it. The centre half off Norwich was going in attacking stance and got pulled back, fell on the ground, and went to VAR. They're very lucky to get away with it. I thought it was a penalty. So still 2-0, but they seem to have lost their heads.
This puts Norwich out of the relegation zone.
It puts them above Watford.
Not Watford, yeah. And I mean, if you're like, you have to assume Newcastle are going to get a couple of points with their January purchases. So like,
yeah.
You're looking at that now going, I mean, Everton are another one that are really in trouble,
with a bit of daylight. But
as it stands, so let's say this wins, it's Burnley 11, Newcastle 12, Watford 14, Norwich 16, Everton 19. So, I mean, they're 5 points ahead of Watford, but I mean, I think they've no manager. So,
Burnley have 2 games in hand there as well. I mean, I know it's not like
Burnley have 3 games in hand over Newcastle.
Over Newcastle,
5 games in hand over Norwich.
Over Norwich. I was more just referring to Everton, but yeah, they've 3 games and 4 games, and those other.
They also have no strikers, so
yeah.
Do a few of those.
Geez, Norwich 1 win, Newcastle 1 win out of 20. That's a rough season. Oh God, damn you, Lyon.
It's sickening. Like they're
just
so
going to let me down. Like
possession, like they're only really going forward on the odd occasion that Saint-Etienne do get possession and get an attack, and they can counter. Other than that, and thankfully now Saint-Etienne do have an attack. Do you just need over 2 goals? I'm just thinking, like, if Saint-Etienne scored here, I'd expect Lyon to go up and score again.
Yeah, I mean, well, so in one bet I have the same as you, but I've got the -2, so I only really need. So I mean, that's gone. But if Lyon were to win 3-0, that's back in. And then in the other bet, I've got over 2.5. So
yeah, it's full time there in the Antwerp Oostende game, so that was a good shout from you for.
Do you know, I'm so glad I said it as well. Like, I was tempted by the -1, but it's not worth it. And the over, do you know what I mean? The 7-5 was the call there, so very happy with that. The way that panned out. I'm on some roll with those Belgian Friday games as well. Like, I'd say about like 5 out of 7 or something since the dark months of autumn and winter came around.
Yeah, you've been going well in your last one. It looked like a good shout. Only the player in question didn't end up playing, so it wasn't a loss either. It was just.
No, I was going to say you can't be trying to accuse me of losing on that one. It's a money back.
Unfortunately for you, you didn't get that one correct.
You get your money back, so that's an even money win, right? We'll call that
an even money win.
Just speaking of being happy about calling bets out, just in case it comes in, there is a bet that I didn't put into my EFL ACA, but I'm actually a bit upset I didn't put it in. And the reason I didn't put it in was just I didn't think people thinking I was an absolute love child of QPR. But I do think that they're massively overpriced tomorrow. They're not getting any respect off the bookmakers. So they were 12-5 last week against at home to Nottingham Forest and won that one. They're 5-2 away to Coventry tomorrow. But I think that's priced up on the fact that Coventry were really good at home for the majority of the season. But in their last three games, they haven't won. They drew one. They've lost their last two. So I think there's a bit of a turn there. If QPR win, they're putting themselves in the hunt for an automatic promotion slot. And like QPR are fourth in the league, Coventry are ninth in the league. Whereas a month ago it would have been opposite. Like Coventry would have been up third or fourth, and QPR would have been down just around the edge of the playoffs. So I think it's a team in form against a team losing form, and 5-2 is a massive price. Tomorrow, so.
Sounds good. We got a comment in from, like, this could be slightly aged comment from Alexis Stewart. This is VAR, FYI. So I'm not sure if that means something, but
there was VAR for that Norwich goal, wasn't there? That's when
there was, yeah. I know there was VAR for a penalty shot as well. So, and also just in that Norwich game, we were saying, LB, your bet has landed. Norwich actually had to clear one off the line, so the ball was standing around the box. Someone headed it over the keeper, but it was a real kind of like lobby head with no real power behind it, and the defender got back and cleared it off the line. So still 2-0, but
squeaky bum time. It's full time in the Serie A, so Verona have won that. And I didn't do that goal justice, so I think I said that it was a tap in, but it was actually a really good header from Kalinic. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but he had the appropriately named Lasagna broke down the right wing, and it was a really good ball to the box, but he had to jump quite high to get it, and he powered it into the ground and past the keeper. So really good goal, but yeah, I call it a tap in, and it was a lot more than that, so fair play to him. And around his body later, I suppose.
I'm still waiting for Lyon to do the business here. Saint-Etienne have kind of started pressing for an equaliser a little bit, but again, Lyon are just quite comfortable defending them and don't really seem to feel the need to counterattack. I kind of feel the way it's gone now, with 5 minutes left, Lyon are nearly more likely to start playing this into the corner than trying to get a second goal. But hopefully, if
our bets aren't going to win, I hope Lyon don't pick up the points.
Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, because they could have finished this off, and they just haven't. And yeah, they haven't looked that bothered to it. Now, did I say it? They're 3-on-3, just around halfway, but pretty comfortable, pretty decent tackle from the defender. Sorry, yeah, no, so Saint-Etienne just kind of cleared it, and it was kind of just hoofed back in by a Lyon player. It didn't look like it was going to go anywhere, but Lyon did pick it back up just at the edge of the Saint-Etienne box, and they kind of are playing around with it now a bit. They're on a bit of a half decent attack, but there's certainly more Saint-Etienne defenders there than there are Lyon attackers. So, might not see anything coming from this. They're in the box now, though. If it just falls, didn't really quite fall well enough for the striker, and he just scuffed it well wide.
Yeah,
frustrating one.
Yeah, that is a really frustrating game now. The way you've described it, like, stats like they've had, 8 shots. Lyon, they've done a bit better, but not to be. I'm happy with chuffed I landed that 15-1 that we called out at half time. So that's nice to call them in play and get them as well. So happy with that.
Yeah, have you landed it yet? Have you?
I mean, Norwich. It's full time in Verona. So
I'm joking.
All right.
10-man Watford to come back with 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, the cash out is almost a full pay. Is almost a full payment, which is you don't usually even see that with these bookies. So
yeah, they're 1-80 at the minute, Norwich. So I think it's safe. Right.
Yeah, they're 1-125 on Bet365. So yeah, against 10 men, and like Watford, probably don't score 2 goals in most matches. Never mind in the dying minutes of games.
Yeah. That'd be you'd be very worried about that Premier League table now if you're a lot of the teams down there, like, getting dragged back into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Brentford as well, like they've played 2 games more than most of these teams. So they're on 23, granted, but you know, they can be hauled right back in there if the guys below them start winning.
Especially like those teams, like Brentford had such a good start to the season. You're probably all thinking, oh, we've done so well, we're not going to be in a relegation battle. So if you find yourself there, it can be hard to get the momentum again, you know?
Oh, yeah, big time. Lyon game is just actually, it's not even that good to watch. It's just like really scrappy attacking.
Yeah,
Lyon.
they're not. I feel like they're not really trying to attack a whole lot. Like, you know, I think they're more comfortable defending than trying to attack. Yeah. For you were talking about that kind of relegation fight, and I think like Everton, they have a bit of breathing room there, but they're home to Villa tomorrow, so like they definitely be eyeing that up as a game to get themselves out. They've obviously got rid of Benitez, and you know they might have that kind of new coach boost. Sorry,
I don't know who makes the decisions at Everton. It was nearly a goal there for Lyon.
Yeah,
but I don't know who makes the decisions at Everton. But like, you know, they brought in Benitez. It was like designed almost to wind up the fans. And then the first person they go back after is Martinez, who the fans got rid of. Like they didn't want him last time. You'd be going mental if you're an Everton fan, going, "What are you doing to us?" Like, you know, anybody in the world of football, and you take probably the 2 least popular people you could go for would be Benitez and Martinez. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with LB. Sorry, I was a bit distracted here because Watford have just had the ball in the net, but it's been disallowed for offside. So it's Moussa Sissoko, but he was offside. Great finish by him, but was offside.
Do you know how long is left in that? It's on Bet365 are showing it as 91 minutes, 15 minutes injury time. Like, yeah,
15. So it's in the 90th minute. There's 15 minutes injury time.
There's just something about 15 minutes injury time that it feels like there's got to be a goal if there's 15 minutes injury time.
Yeah,
way more than if it was on 75 minutes. Like,
exactly. Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Like that much injury time is definitely.
Well, there has been a goal. It's 3-0 to Norwich.
So there's your bet in, Gary. So that
landed,
one missed penalty from a 46-1.
So heartbreaking. It's absolutely sick.
We called at the time as well. That's actually soul destroying.
When we called
all the joy,
I was thinking because the other matches weren't really going our way that at that stage, like particularly the Belgium game. I was thinking I should.
If yourself, pal, my bet won.
Yeah, so did mine.
Yeah, if we bet, your bets went exactly all right.
I'm saying that at the time that bet didn't come off, those two were still 0-0, so you would have got good odds for backing that double alone in play.
Oh God, those penalties are just becoming a joke now at this stage.
I have to feel for this guy because he's just like they subbed him on. So when you asked Slats how long was left, that was like the 90 minutes and 30 seconds. So the guy came onto the pitch when he was being subbed on then, and 45 seconds later he scored an OG.
Oh God.
I need to see because Ida took the shot, so I need to see whether it actually was. Yeah, definitely was an OG. Ida was crossing it in. He just stuck out his foot and poked it in.
God,
he needed to do it anyway because the striker behind him was gonna score. But 45 seconds on the pitch and scored an OG must be a record.
Lyon had a free kick there that they could have swung into the box. Like it wasn't that close to the box, but it was close enough that they could hit it in there. And they didn't have a single player went into the box. They just kind of hit it across the pitch and lost possession. And Saint-Etienne kind of went on a half attempt at an attack. They're just really not pushing for the second goal at all. And it's into injury time now. I can't see anywhere.
2 minutes.
Just 2 minutes injury time.
We're 90 seconds into that 2 minutes on
my screen. Oh my God, that's like, yeah. I mean, they're just not going for it. The keeper's taking a free kick here, the Lyon keeper, but where's he heading it down into the corner? Well, kind of toward the box a bit. There's just nobody up there for Lyon. No, that's it. Full time. That's disappointing as well.
Disappointing there now. So, but I mean, really, that's gutting for the live action Aka. I mean, if we had landed 240 plus to ones in a season, like that would be, I'd retire happy at that stage. Right, we've made it. All 14 people watching the show were delighted with the 2 monster ackies that we had that night. I mean, that's ridiculous, and it's such bad luck that it was just a penalty as well.
Yeah.
Missed penalty.
And
yeah.
I don't mean to boast, but it's not even boasting. But I had a 7-2 winner last week and an 11-2 winner this week, and I didn't make any money. So fairly gutting with that. But at least we know our picks are. You know, we're getting there. We're knocking on the door. So next week I'm not. I think it was the last time I wasn't on the show that the bet landed. So that could be a good omen for next week.
Oh, you're away next week.
I am, yeah. Be on the ski slopes.
Yeah, next week now we'll have to struggle slightly to get our bets together. It's just, well, I'll be fine because there's Belgium First Division, but there's a lot of the top leagues aren't actually on. An interesting one. Maybe Slats, you delve into the depths of the Coupe de France or something like that.
Coupe de France.
Well, I'm actually going to say today there was a Genk women versus Ghent women game, and I was like, "How is Slats not all over this?"
I actually won that time. I bet on the Belgian women's football, as far as I remember.
In the bet roulette.
No, not that. No, that was Dutch.
No. All right.
Yeah, next Friday there's only one game on in the Dutch 2, which is a bit strange, but it doesn't even look like a decent one. Maybe both teams to score, but they're 2 poor enough sides. Yeah, we'll have to go digging for bets for next Friday. All right, can make it a bit interesting to.
Yeah, and maybe Gary, if you're feeling generous, you can give us a tip for the Huddersfield Stoke game that's on the Friday night in the championship.
Oh, definitely,
yeah. Well, look, we came really close. We get to the end of the show there. We're not getting a huge amount of comments in tonight, so there's no point in keeping the floor open. It's not a huge amount compared to last week, but very, very close to landing another monster acca there. Kind of disappointed we didn't get it. 2 out of 3, though. So if anyone who read the article backed him as single, you'd be well up for the night, especially on Gary's Norwich and goals shout. So yeah, look, we'll be back at the same time, 7:30 GMT next Friday. It'll be myself and Slats and hopefully our esteemed colleague Paul Kelly, who steps in on almost every show at the moment. So if we get him back, it'll be 3. But Gary will be enjoying the ski slopes of Eastern Europe, and you'll see us the week after, Gary. So enjoy your trip, and we'll see any viewers next week.
Nice one, lads.